Okay, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. So let's get down to the nitty gritty here. So I'm sure you guys seen the shocking results. Well, not too shocking, but the outcome of the fact that Sadam Ali has shocked the world. Everyone, that's right, Sadam Ali, who moved up from 147 to 154, 529. Sadam Ali is the new WBO light middleweight champion of the world. He defeated many would regard as one of the best fighters of the generation, Miguel Cotto. Miguel Angel Cotto. He defeated him in his, Miguel's going away fight, his retirement fight, as you want to call it. Definitely a very close fight, man. I thought this was going to be more of an easy fight for Cotto because Ali has been, yes, he's been in, you can say he's been in a couple tough fights against, Jesse Vargas, whatnot, and Luis Carlos Abrego as well. But the fact is that Ali actually came in very game. He was very precise with his punching, with his inside fighting, and he did a good job of smothering Miguel Cotto. He didn't give him any chances to try to get his shots off. He was getting rocked a little bit. But the fact is that yeah, he put up a very good fight against Cotto. He kept him at bay with his hooks, especially with his inside fighting. And he just seemed a lot more quicker and much more fluid than Cotto. Cotto did look like he slowed down in this, tonight. He looked like he was pretty old in there. So, so definitely I scored it. What's up, Champ Ross? What's going on, Blood? I definitely scored this fight 115, 113 for Ali. Close fight, but I gave it to Ali. Cotto, all credit. He came down. He came in. He rallied back, but of course it wasn't enough because obviously he gave away the early rounds. Of course, I see Brian the Barber over there on the other side of the chat. He's saying that Cotto got robbed. I don't know what fight he was watching, but it is what it is. He's entitled to his opinion. But but let's be all fairness though, guys. Let's be all fairness though, because this is going to be brought up here, and I'm going to be the first to bring this up. This could have been Earl Spence in here tonight. And what's up, BBT? You won $1,900 tonight? Hey, congratulations, brother. This could have been Earl Spence, man, and let me tell you why. Yes, I know you make the argument that Spence turned it down because he didn't want to do the multi-fight deal with Golden Boy De La Hoya. I get that argument, but you have to look at it from another perspective because now Ali, since he won this fight, he's pretty much in the driver's seat now. He's in the driver's seat. What I mean by that is now you knocked off one of the biggest cash cows in boxing in his last pro fight. Now you're pretty much in a situation where you can make demands. You could be the A side of the negotiations, pretty much, if you think about it. I know I don't like to use the word boxing as a business, terminology, but in some cases it is. So, congrats to Sadam Ali. He definitely got a great win. A very good win. Yeah, man, I'm gonna send the link. Low place. Hold on, give me 1 second. So I'm gonna send a link to everybody. Hey, anybody in the chat, if y'all want a link, please let me know. I'll put it in right now. You guys can get in. So definitely a good fight, man. I just felt that like I said, man, I just felt that Cotto just he rallied too late. He gave away all well, not exactly gave away. He just, you could say he gave away the early rounds. That's all I can say. I know Blood said that Sadam Ali won't make it at 154. Yeah, I might agree because those guys up there punch much harder. They're much more quicker and they're much more faster and stronger. So Ali, he could be overwhelmed here. You got Jared Hurd, who's too damn big for super welterweight, and then you got Jamal Charlo up there too, who's a damn big puncher at super welterweight as well. Even though he doesn't have that many knockouts, but he's a very big puncher. We've seen that displayed against Erickson Lubin. And then you have who else there? Arislandi Lar, who's very dangerous and very slick fighter. So I don't know. Ralph Unreal, what's going on? He said that Ali won the fight, close fight, but not impressed at all. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. It was a close fight, but you got to be shocked the way he performed, though, man, because everybody thought he was going to get outclassed in all 12 rounds based off the betting odds. And you got to give him credit. He definitely won a shocker, and, he surprised everyone. He definitely he's got people talking now. Red Fox in the comment section, he said that Ali should return to 147. You know what? He could return there, but at the same time, he's like, look, I got a belt on 154. I can make demands now. So, but the thing is though, Blood got a point though. It's like those guys, Eric. He's got Arizona Lara up there. You got Jamel Charlo. You got Jared Hurd. You still got the other players up there. J. Rock Williams, Austin Trout, and who else you got up there? And 154. Even Erickson Lubin. So you still got those guys up there. So it's going to be a tough 154 division for him if he stays there. Liam Smith is still a pretty tough fighter. So even though I don't really regard Liam Smith as highly in some ways, but he's still a very big guy, and he has a relentless pressure style of fighting. So I'm not sure if Ali could adapt to something like that. So we'll see. Low Play says that Golden Boy got another champ, so that makes it 3 now, and no one matched them. Match with them. Well, man, we'll see. We'll see. ABT said that Cotto tore the left bicep in round 7, so that helped Ali a lot. You know what? Yeah, that's a good point because ever since, it's funny, though, because when he threw a lot of mustard in that left hook, he did hurt Ali, and then for some reason he didn't have the same mustard after that 7th round on that punch. So I knew something was not right there. I thought maybe he could have injured it or something like that. So yeah, that's a good point. So Ali did take advantage of that. So let me see. Okay, put the link here. Let me get Brian the Barber here too, because this dude's talking a lot of mess now. Let me get everybody up in here. Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Blood, let me know if you want a link, man. You know what? Let me put a link to the comment section below here. If anybody want to get in, NBT, go ahead and chat on it. Red Fox, you guys go ahead and do it. Get in here. Well, let me see. NBT said Kurt Cotto was hurt 5 times. Ali didn't jump on him those 3 out of the 5 times. You know what? I think what it is Ali was trying to do, he was trying to keep it safe because he didn't want to really risk taking that chance against a guy like Cotto, because let's not forget, guys, Cotto is a very tough dude. He only got stopped he got stopped twice in his career. Yes, you could say they were kind of both controversial stoppages in a way. What I mean, I know the people are gonna get mad at me for bringing up the Pacquiao situation, because you have to understand the Pacquiao fight, he was severely drained. I mean, the guy not only agreed to a catch rate of 144, he also agreed to a same-day weigh-in. So that really took a toll on him in that fight against Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he definitely looked very bad in that fight. What I mean by that, as far as his body frame, he looked very bad in that fight against Pacquiao, body frame wise. Now, as far as Antonio Margarito, absolutely, we could talk about the hand wraps controversy. So obviously, yeah, that's what caused Cotto to really be severely mashed up the way he did. So yeah, so like I said, he's a tough dude. You're not going to knock him out easily. But that's why I felt that Ali didn't take the chance on him the way he did when he hurt him. So let's be fair though. Cotto did hurt Ali a few times, but at the same time, I will say this though: Ali actually had more durability than Cotto to finish out the fight throughout the end. So he showed that he was much more stronger. He was much more resilient. So you got to give him props for that. So Chad Ross in the comment section, he looked every bit of a 37-year-old. I mean, yeah, he did, man. Like I said, man, he looked a lot more slower than I thought, man. I thought he would be more fast for this fight, but apparently he didn't. What's going on, P Money? P Money is in the comment section.
Dan, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Yeah, we can hear you, man. Hold on for a second, guys. Hold on 1 second. I see Brian over here. I see Red Fox. Yeah, just give me 1 second, guys. So yeah, man, like I said, I know again some people are gonna jump on me for saying this, man. Something tells me that Earl Smith should have taken this fight, man. This could have been him in there tonight, in my opinion. This could have been him. Yeah, but go ahead, guys. What's up?
This version of,
sorry. Go ahead, man. What's up? Go ahead.
I was saying that Spence would have killed this version of Cotto tonight, yo.
He did good against Cotto. I mean, shit. I mean,
Brian, hold up. Did you say that Cotto got robbed?
No. I said y'all didn't read the comment. I said Sadam Ali should have got robbed. I wish they would have robbed his ass because he had that dude. He had Cotto hurt how many times and didn't finish? He deserved to get robbed. That motherfucker almost robbed himself.
Come on, man.
Fuck that. I mean, what if he would have got robbed? Then he would have got his own. It would have been his own damn fault, dummy. I mean, shit. He had him hurt how many times? Like his damn trainer was saying, dude, come on, man. He said, bone up, nigga. I mean,
what? Oh, shit. Nah, bro. Nah, you ain't getting away with that, Brian. What the fuck, man?
That shit, dude. You gotta understand. Hey, you gotta understand. I'm in a black barbershop all day.
Don't matter, dude. You
Oh
can't
my
be getting away with this
god.
shit like that, dog. Come on,
This
man.
dude.
You know how I mean.
Brian, bro,
This
you
motherfucker.
know,
Dude. Hey, you lying.
who's this dude?
Shut your ass
that,
up.
that came out, bro. Hey, I say it around my house, but it's disrespectful to say it. You know.
Yeah,
But I'm not.
yeah,
When I say it around my house, I'm not saying it. You know what I'm saying? It's
all right,
just.
Brian. But watch your mouth, man,
But
for real, though. Don't be doing that shit, man.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
know that's
but
just
god.
yeah,
a name.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, man. Come on, fuck, dude. That's I know, Chad Ross. That did fucking came out. Yeah, yo, P Money said, yeah, man. Hey, I hear you, bro. I hear you, but Brian, man, you got a lot of people pissed off at you, man. What the fuck, man? Include everybody in the goddamn hangout. Shit, man.
Maybe because it's on. Are you streaming it?
Yeah, man, I'm live. I told
Oh,
you,
okay.
man,
Well,
I'm
that's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, uh, like I said, you got to understand where I'm at every day, all day.
I understand that, but
I clown,
you
I
gotta watch
clown
where you say
with
these
my
things, bro.
homeboys all day long. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't, like I said, I don't say that around them, but
Oh my. Can we go
you know,
to another point?
Yeah, let's get it. Yeah,
obviously,
Can
you
we
know,
go
it
to
just
another?
came out, so it's not like it wasn't nothing racist or nothing. It
Yo,
just came
Saddam.
out like
Yo, I said it, man. Saddam Ali had Cotto was capable of being beat. I thought it was gonna be a close fight. I was up on the fence, but everybody else just had him like getting beat up and said he wasn't gonna be durable. Man, you gotta remember with Jesse Vargas, his leg gave out on him, and they both was hitting each other with some crazy ass shots, and they
yeah,
wasn't nobody punking out. So I knew this dude had heart. He's an athlete. He got a lot of head movement, can duck below the
right.
waist and come right back up and be changing the angle while he doing it. He was making Cotto look stupid at times. I agree, man. He didn't finish the
yeah,
fight at times, but that's not the fighter he is. He just ain't that guy. But the judges done the right thing and they scored the fight the way they should have. And
Yeah,
I'm be
man.
honest with you, it's certain opponents at 147 that this man can get some trouble to. He's a Golden Glove champion, an Olympian. Like he is pedigree. Is guys at 140. Keith Thurman didn't reach those height people. He didn't do that. Keith Thurman wasn't able to do that. Those amateur heights. It's
Oh,
certain people he can give
there was
problems
no
to at 47.
there was no way they could rob Ali in this fight. Him clearly win it. No way they could rob him. That would just be a blatant robbery if they never gave him the win.
hmm
And I'm not buying that left hook. I'm not buying that. I get it. His bicep is hurt. You can visibly tell it's nasty. I wouldn't want to look at it, but I'm not buying that's why he lost. Because Saddam Ali was catching the shit out of Cotto's left hook. He was able to when he caught it.
Yeah.
When he caught it in the chin, it didn't wobble him to death. The only time he was hurt, he took 3 steps back and he jumped right back in his stance, and that was from a right hand. That wasn't from a left hook. He was
Yeah,
catching that left hook.
yeah, man. Ali did a good job of keeping that left hook at bay. I was surprised that Cotto was barely landed that left hook in a couple of rounds. Most of
Yeah.
the rounds.
You know what's funny though, because a lot of people expected Ali to, if he got caught with one of those like hooks, he was gonna go down.
Mhm.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, because if you look at the Jesse Vargas fight, Jesse Vargas is not a big puncher, a very feather fisted guy.
Yeah.
He hasn't have any hands, and he was able to get knock out Sadam Ali in that fight. So people thought if that left hook had landed, that would be done, and I was surprised that Ali was able to take those shots.
This what I
So
don't.
But
Champ
the thing with
Ross.
Vargas, you know. Oh,
Oh,
it is.
y'all got to see what this Champ Ross said. This what I don't want people to start doing. Mikey might have knocked out Cotto on 6-7. Man, that was Saddam Ali, not Mikey Garcia, man. Saddam Ali was the man able to put his back on the ropes and be unhittable to Miguel Cotto. Give that man his credit. If Mikey Garcia wants some credit, tell Mikey Garcia to beat him. Like I get it, Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence didn't want to sign with Golden Boy, and I don't blame them because we don't know where the hell Saddam Ali going from here. Like they got nobody to match him with, nobody. He finna fight somebody none of us heard of, unless they send him up to 140, 160 and fight Canelo. That's some bull crap, man.
yeah, I hear
I
you,
can
man.
see
I
Canelo taking. Oh, I was
Yeah,
saying that I
go
can see
ahead. Go
Canelo.
ahead, Fox. Go ahead, Fox. Go ahead.
I was saying I can actually see Canelo taking that fight, you know, based on his track record in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Well, like I said, man, I gotta say, low place, you were right, man. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know that Ali can win this fight, but hey, you got a point. You did, man. You called it right. So, but the question is now is that where does Ali go from here at this point? Because I know we were just talking about this for a second in the comment section, whether he stays at 154, 147 and vacate. What do you guys think? What he should do now?
No. Yeah, I'm clueless. Like they got nobody. Like shit. Who is mandatories? The Smiths and the Wash. The Liam Smith is mandatory.
Who?
Or like the #1 contender?
No, WBO. I think it's Let me see. Let me look at the rankings right now, man. Yeah, man. Brian, man, he gotta be. He can't be using words like that in my fucking hangout, man. Don't be. I don't be playing with that shit, dude.
Yeah, Liam Williams or some shit like that. I don't know, man. Fuck that.
Yeah, let me look at the rankings right now. Let me see.
They actually had Sadam Ali ranked in the WBO rankings at 54. I don't know
Well,
why,
they had
but I
to
remember
because that's the only way they can sanction the fight because they got to get him in the rankings, before the fight.
I mean,
That's
didn't
the
they
rules
just?
go.
I mean, did they? I mean, can they give him an Andre or something like that with HBO? Like,
Well, Andre's at 160 now, so
yeah,
that position is vacated.
yeah,
They might
but
actually give him Smith. Now that they mentioned Smith.
man, that shit kind of whack, man. Like, I don't know who the hell this dude gonna fight. Like, this all over the place. Like Lucas Matisse they got at 147, but this 154-pound belt. Lucas Matisse gonna go up in weight, probably. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah,
Golden
there's
Boy,
gonna be a lot of 147 guys going up to weight to go after that title now.
man.
So that's what's gonna happen. Who knows? Crawford may go up there. Who will see?
Yeah, that shit is crazy, man. Shit,
Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. Let's see.
I would prefer he drop it and go back to 147 and get an opportunity somewhere. Or WBO can put him in at the rankings high, and then give him Crawford Horn winner or something like that. That would be respectable, but he don't need to be no 154-pound champion. That's ridiculous. Golden Boy got nothing up there.
Yeah, let me see, man. Let me see. There's Liam Smith. Yeah, you're right. Liam Smith is the #1 ranked guy, so he may get another shot at that title if the WBO decides to mandate it. And then you have what else? John Vera, Antonio Margarito. Oh, he's ranked in the top 10 by the WBO.
Damn.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I stopped.
Antonio
I stopped
Margarito.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Antonio Margarito, Diego Chavez, who once
Hold
fought
on.
at 147.
Antonio Margarito is ranked in the WBO?
Yep, ranked number
Yep.
9.
Oh my god, what the fuck, bro?
That's what I was about to say. That what? Let me just stop trying to comprehend these rankings. Because it's the same thing every time.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. That to me, if he's in the rankings, that seems to me that he's in line to get another title shot. But the question is, though, this is gonna be a very murky situation. He can't get a boxing license here in the state, so the fight's gonna have to be in Mexico. Now, will he go all the way to Mexico to defend that title and take the fight if the money is right?
Don't do it.
Allow that?
You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't. What do you think, Lo?
Carson Jones fight.
What fight did you say? What fight?
Carson Jones fight.
Margarito versus Ali. If that fight gets made, because Margarito can't get a license here in the state. So,
I see this the kind of circus shit. Like Cotto, you know what I'm saying? Cotto giving this dude a shot. Like that's why I'm glad like Earl Spence and them didn't take it, because he ain't got no business being a junior welterweight champion. He still got business at 147. Like, come on, man. Like, stop it. The guy who knocks Sadam Ali out ain't even holding the belt down there no more. But now you holding the belt at a newer division. Ah, my God, man. I wish they would have just had a non-title fight and put that shit up for grabs in the division or something.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's like I said, I'm surprised to see him even ranked, man, because he's not ranked by no one, man. I'm surprised the WBO gave him a ranking. It's amazing. He hasn't fought anyone.
They do this all the time.
Flat out
all
corruption.
The time they do this.
And the same people are saying those people. Go ahead, Red.
Oh, I say that they do this all the time. So even Canelo have a ranking with the WBO just like that.
Right, right. You know, it's funny though, man. I don't know, Margarito versus Ali, man. Who do you guys think is gonna win that fight if it gets made?
Margarita by robbery, just like with Carson Jones. He go quit the fight and still win the fight.
That's ridiculous. He gonna fight Matisse at 54. That's the plan for him to be, like you said, for him to even be able to fight for that title and get ranked out of nowhere, flat out corruption, and nobody gonna do a damn thing about. Fucking sad, man. Our sport's sad. Like, what basketball team get to jump in the Eastern Conference Finals without making it to the damn Eastern Conference Finals? This shit's sad, man.
Yeah, that's the thing with
Yeah,
boxing, no structure.
Ridiculous. I mean, they put a cloud on a good fight too. It was a fucking good fight. Now we got to deal with. We back to obscurity. We don't know what's finna go on with these bullshit fights that we know. That this sad,
Well,
man.
you know what, man? Let's be honest. If you look at the WBO rankings, man, it's not really highly rated fighters there, man. The only, like I said, the only names is Liam Smith, Diego Chavez, Antonio Margarito, Liam Williams, who actually just lost recently to Liam Smith, and J. Rock Williams is in there, so he's in the top 15. So J. Rock could get a shot if that's Al Heyman fighter though. So if they can somehow make that fight, which is highly doubtful, I don't know.
That's exactly like when I said with
Yeah,
the other sports, when they championship end, they know what's next. The draft. You know what I mean? They understand this. Like we get this, and we sad. Like it's boxing sad, man. Like,
Yeah,
and
man, we
then
have
we
to
talk,
wait
and
and
we
hope every
hold
friggin'
on. We
time.
talking. Let me make it up. We talking about the rankings and what they gonna do and how they gonna do it. But we failing to see they just broke their own rules anyway. So why would we even give them another chance? Like they just put this man in the WBO. He got no wins at 54. Like fuck
yeah,
out
I
of here.
know, man.
Yeah, man, they do it all the time.
They do it all the time. That's true, man. You know, I mean, like I said, Margarito hasn't really fought any ranked contenders ever since his comeback. He's been fighting what for the last year now or so. So in Mexico, you know,
Yeah,
and now he gets a ranking by the WBO. I just
got
don't understand this.
man get a gift against Carson Jones and he just get a ranking just like that.
Well, trust me, he's gunning for that WBO title. Watch what's going to happen. He's going to start yelling and screaming. He wants a title shot. He's going to go after Ali. He's going to harass him. He's going to beg to. Well, I don't say the word begging. He's going to really challenge him to get him to come to Mexico to fight for that title. Anyway, what's going on, Mike? Mike from Bound Boxing Report is in the hangout. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Yo,
sir.
Mike, yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just going over the fight, man, between Miguel Cotto, Sadam Ali. What's your take on it, man?
I mean, once you saw early on that Sadam Ali was able to hurt uh, Cotto relatively easy with shots. I mean, whenever he landed with a solid shot, a hard shot right on Cotto, Cotto felt it and was moved by it.
Right.
Once you saw that early on, you got the sense that he was in trouble. The fact that, and then as the fight progressed, you could see that Sadam Ali was faster with the hands and feet. Um, and even when Cotto was able to land shots here and there, um, Sadam Ali stood up to the power. Uh,
Mhm.
my biggest question was at the end, would he get the decision? And for once, boxing did the right thing, gave Ali the decision that he deserved and earned. So Cotto, he had a great career. He has had a great career, uh, but the age showed here. Maybe Saddam Ali fought better than a lot of us anticipated, but kudos to him. He got the decision. He fought hard. He got what he earned. He got what he deserved.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, the question is now, what does Ali do now? Does he keep the title, does he go back down to 147 and vacate? What do
I
you
mean,
think?
he should go back down to 154, in my opinion, because I think he's too small uh, uh, for the big dogs at
Yeah.
54.
Yeah.
Problem is, based on what I've seen, I don't know if he's good enough to beat the elite guys at 47 either. It's kind
Good
of a
point.
catch-22.
He
So it's
is.
kind of a
He is.
catch-22 position with him. He got the career best win. He's going to get some notoriety from it, but it's going to be tricky how he's handled from this point on. He keeps
Right.
the title. He could make a soft defense here or there, but anytime he step up in competition, I think he's going to get beat. Conversely, I think if he goes back down to 47 and tries some of the elite competition in that division, I think he gets beat as well. So it's for me, it's a wait and see.
You know an
Right.
opponent. You know an opponent that I just thought about. For one, Matisse for sure, and then I think Chris Algieri ain't been in the ring in a minute.
Well,
But
you
they
know what though? To cut you off real quickly, somebody brought up a good opponent, Kell Brook, because Kell Brook is going to go up to
So
154.
that just crossed my
yeah.
man.
Yep, Kell Brook, because just make me think about that because Eddie Hearn may reach out to Oscar De La Hoya to
Good
get that
point.
Ali fight.
Good point.
Yeah. First
That fight
Who
may
said
150.
that?
happen next.
Who said that in the comment? That's some good shit. There,
Wait, Cage 76 said that. That's a good point. I think Kell Brook's going to get that shot.
oh my
Watch.
god, he
That's
gonna
a good.
Yep.
beat
That's,
Kill.
yeah, that's I
He
didn't
gonna
I
beat
didn't think
Kill,
of
bro.
that. That
He
would be
gonna
good.
beat Kill.
Not the kill that I saw against Spence.
Yeah, he gonna crack his eye. He gonna do it. He
Well,
gonna
that's the
do it.
question. That's the question. The question is Kell Brook damaged goods at this point of his career, having both eyes damaged in consecutive fights. If his eye holds up, and if it's the Brook I saw against Spence, Sadam Ali is not beating that guy.
Yeah. You know what though? Here's the thing though. Kell Brook, even though we looked at he lost he had two devastating losses for both fights. He seems to be more in his prime than Miguel Cotto. To me, in my opinion. But yet we have to see what he looks like when he comes back. After those two devastating knockout losses. So he's naturally a bigger and stronger guy than Ali. He's much better technically. So. Then again, we thought about that about Cotto tonight, so we saw what that
Ali
happened.
loose, man. Ali is loose, man. That shit is underrated. What he could do body wise, like, and he can punch. From what we saw, I think even if Kell Brook was healthy, this is gonna be one of the toughest fights he ever had.
True.
I've actually been thinking how Ali would perform stylistically against Keith Furman if he could give Furman some problems.
It could be slippery. It could be a slippery match, man.
It could be slippery, man. But then again, like I said, here's the way I take it, guys. He definitely has a good win. And I think what's going to happen now is that he's going to stay at 154. He's going to take a couple soft defenses here, as you said, Mike. That's a good point. I think that's what's going to happen. And then Kell Brook is going to get that title shot.
Something just crossed my mind. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
What you
man.
going to say?
He's
Go
gonna
ahead,
fight Chris
What if?
Algieri. He's gonna
What
fight
if?
Chris Algieri. Watch.
What if they make him fight Manny Pacquiao at 147?
So Sadam Ali.
Yeah.
154.
Um,
But he golden boy, man. Like golden boy, a top rank definitely moved off that position. ESPN. That's why I want to see how they work together. And then if they work
well,
together, he do got fights at 47. He got
well, they
home.
actually are working together right now. In fact, Oscar does have a deal with ESPN, so they can make that happen. That's a good point, Red.
Just top rank in general. Oscar got that. He basically got the baby series, but top rank is trying to put on big shit. So if them and if Oscar and top rank gonna work together, let's see it. You can make better fights then.
They could give it to him as a retirement fight.
But they're not going on HBO. The way Bob Arum was talking about the dude head of HBO the other day, they're not going back on that.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point, Red and Low, but the thing is that I just can't see that Pacquiao fight happen. I have to agree with St. Cruz in the comment section. I don't think the Pacquiao Ali fight may happen anytime soon. I think what's going to happen, I'm going to stick to my guns on this. He's going to keep that 154 title, make a couple defenses, and then the Kell Brook fight will be made. I think that's going to happen. Watch. I have to agree with Wings King 76 on that. Unless, I know any guys that think beg to differ on that one. What do you think, Lo? What do you think was going to happen?
That's an option. Like it's all there. Like now it's now that people are adjusting their careers to what did happen to them, like Pacquiao trying to probably avoid the people that we think the best at welterweight, but still have a credible opponent. Kell Brook adjusting his because of the facial damage he's taking. It could fall into place. I think Matisse though, because Golden Boy loyal to their people. If they can do in-house, Matisse
Matisse
154.
going up to 154.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
too small for that weight, man. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
I
He is
can't
way too
wait.
small.
But look at the
What's
payday.
up?
What else? I don't know what other payday he got coming his way. So that and the
Well, the
belt.
question is, can his power carry up there? That's going to be a big question. Can
He's
he
gonna
carry it up there? Because
he's
most guys
gonna
can
he's
do it,
gonna
some
go
can't.
into it. He's gonna go into a fight in 147 pounder though. That's what he's gonna probably
Yeah,
look
I
at.
mean, but the thing, Matisse started at, he's a light welterweight, dude. He's a very small. He even at when he fought at 140, he was pretty small. He wasn't that big of a light welterweight. When he moved up to 147, that was very evident. So, I mean, sometimes sizes doesn't really tell the story, but then again, it depends on your natural ability and your
And I'm
power. I
saying
can
they
still
could
see.
fight.
I
They could
think
fight. They could fight at the weight of 151 or something like that. They
Matisse
and
is
one's a real junior welterweight. As well, super welterweight.
Mm.
Matisse is
Yeah, but go ahead, Red.
Matisse is the last fight. I think it was against a guy that's never been knocked out before. The same guy who fought Adrian Brown and Antonio Orozco. But nothing
Right.
stopped him at 147.
Hey, Red, your mic is it's staticky, brother.
Oh, I'm gonna check it.
Okay.
What did he come in tonight? He weighed like 151 tonight or 50. Nah,
Yeah.
he was the heavier guy tonight, wasn't he? Like
Yeah, Ali came in at
153 with Cotto.
151, and Cotto came in at 150. He
No,
weighed
no,
a
it was
lot less.
153. Ali was 153. He was a
Yeah,
pound
yeah,
under
you're right.
the limit.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right. He's 153,
them
and
boys.
Cotto's 151.
I just see Matisse getting that shot before anybody because Golden Boy, man, they kind of struggling over there. And if he don't get the shot, it's gonna be a definite unknown. If he don't take it, it's gonna be an unknown first, and then they'll probably see if he won it again. If not, they'll bring in Eddie Hearn's side of the thing.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. Here's the thing, guys. We gotta. This is gonna be a controversial topic here, and some part of me, and I have to agree with Mike on this one because I saw this comment in your comment section, bro. Before I had you hop on. Uh, this should have been Earl Spence, man. This should have been him. If he took it this fight, that would have been him in there tonight, and he would have gotten that big win. You know what I mean on his resume.
Spence
So
wouldn't have won. Spence would not only have won, he would have stopped Cotto tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
I agree. He would have stopped him. Body attack. He would have went to the body and attacked him.
yeah, definite stoppage. Cotto looked heavy, slow in this fight. This would have been a perfect victory for Spence to retire Cotto.
Your mic, Red. If did you jump out and come back in? If you jump out and come back in, it probably come.
Refresh
yeah,
page.
yeah, Red, just jump out and come back in, man. That usually works 95% of the time.
Hey, I say this. I'm glad he didn't, cause he would be in. He be what is he gonna take a Brook rematch at 54 after that? Like this is what we talking about, and he would be with Golden Boy, who has not proved they can work with Heyman. Yeah, it's bigger
Well,
than just that one picture. Like I'm pretty sure the pay. It said that 3 fight deal. I don't think the pay would have been some kind. I mean, you're talking about exposure, maybe, but he's gonna get that anyway if he
No,
keep putting hands on people the right way.
no,
He's still gonna get it.
Well,
no,
from what I've heard, the pay was very good. It was a
But
very
it's
high
a
pay.
but
But
it's a
he just
no.
three
didn't, he
it's
just
a
didn't
three
take
fight
it.
deal. And
Not necessarily. First,
Al Heyman just offered him 3 million to stay put, so that's good pay as well.
That's
first of
true.
all, first
go
of
ahead,
all,
Mike.
it wouldn't necessarily been a guarantee that had he taken this fight that Spence would have went to Golden Boy because Spence has his ultimate long term goal is to be self promoted much in the same way as Floyd. So he wants to try to stay independent as long as possible. He could have won this fight just as a one off at the weight, and then still continue to fight at 147 because, again, just like I said, the ultimate goal for him is to be kind of independent and be his own boss.
Right.
His ultimate goal in the ring is to be kind of the man at 47. He could have took this fight, won, and then go back down to 147 and see if he can get be that dude at 147. In particular, see if he can finally get uh, uh, Flute Boy, entice him into a match.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, big.
I thought Golden Boy had the mindset with him and Garcia. This is the only way you get it. You sign the letter and say we have options on you after 2 or 3 fights in. We have options on you. That
But you can
wasn't.
still
I
you can
understand it's
still
not their goal to be with them, but that would have been what Golden Boy
yeah,
required of them to get
but
the fight.
yeah, but if they really wanted that, you can still negotiate. You can still negotiate around that.
I don't know if they
Be
tried
smart
to or
about it.
not.
Be smart about it.
Maybe they tried to, maybe they didn't. But I'm pretty sure Golden Boy was firm on. They need fighters. Golden Boy, like that's like, why wouldn't they be firm on? We're not going to make you big unless you're with us. They need fighters. They got 3 champions at the, and one really doesn't even belong to them. Linares isn't really theirs. They got one champion besides Saddam Ali. That's Ray Vargas. That got to
Well,
fight.
Canelo's a lineal champion. You got
Well,
to
yeah.
include that.
Well, as far
You
as
know.
like yeah, that's true. That's true. But as far as the titles in the division, they have 2 people, and that's, you look around and that really ain't happening with other promoters.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about this. I think Mike may have good points about this because here's the thing. I know this whole talk about the reason why Spence, obviously the logical reason why he didn't take the Cotto fight because of the multi-fight deal was involved in the part of the negotiations. I think he could have negotiated that and say, okay, let's make it 2 fight deal. How about that? Or maybe a 1 fight deal. I'll give me the Cotto fight, give me another fight, and then we'll talk business from there and see how that goes. I think he should have negotiated that, but there was
But
no
how
signs of
do we
that
not
happening.
know that? How would we know he did not do that though?
What
That like
the thing is
how,
that there's no signs of that. Usually, when the negotiations fall through, there are people do bring up the fact that there's compromising factors to the negotiation process, and it didn't seem like there was no compromise there
But
from
but
Spence, or it could have been from De La Hoya.
but how good is the Golden Boy Heyman relationship?
nah, exactly. Not good.
Well,
It ain't been
it's
good.
not. They dropped the lawsuit, so I guess that's gonna go. I think that's a start to trying to get trying to patch things up between the 2 camps. So um, I don't know.
I ain't seen a Golden Boy fighter on PBC or Showtime. Until I see that, I'm not big on somebody like Spence putting him, like Spence has all the fights with Heyman right now. These guys, they are in line to have him. I don't want to see him do anything different than what Heyman has. Forget Cotto. I'm proud of Cotto, what he done. I did not need to see Spence beat him up tonight. I did not need to see that. Wouldn't have meant a thing to me.
That would have been his best win.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know. It would have been a body. It would have been a body I did not need to see. It would have been a
Yeah.
complete body.
I actually thought Cotto would beat Spence, but seeing him tonight, no, no, no. This version of Cotto wouldn't be able to hang with Spence.
It would have been his. It would have been his best win because of the name. Now, in terms of the fighter and
Right.
the ability, um, again, I have to keep referring back to that Brook fight. The Brook that I saw against against Spence was better than what I saw from Cotto tonight. So you
Yeah.
have to. It depends on your perspective in terms of how you would have looked at that if Spence would have accepted the fight and won.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this is like again, this has been a I understand business is business, but if you look at it from another standpoint, if you knock it down, one of the biggest cash cows and one of the best fighters of our time, in this era, one of the best, like whether you like him or not, he is one of the best fighters of this time. If you had beat
Yeah.
him, you would definitely put yourself in a position of being being a bit of a star. You know,
Yeah. And he
Do
would
you
have
even in the
retired
driver's
him.
seat.
do you
You know,
remember
Ali
when
definitely benefited from this. From this fight. So
you
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 know,
remember you remember when Oscar De La Hoya was raving about the only person he wanted to promote, one of the people? It was Earl Spence. I don't think there was no compromise to be made. Oscar knew what he wanted. Like, who wouldn't want him though? Oscar is smart. Like, this dude's a problem. But once again, if he gets them, and I do, but I don't believe there was no compromise. What Oscar set out is what he had, or we got a fighter that's gonna take the fight. And based on how they judged the fight fairly, he probably had this in his back pocket, saying, "Okay, if you say no, we'll create another avenue."
Well,
And
actually,
it,
I think it would have been a compromise for Oscar because remember, Mikey Garcia again was offered a. They were trying to negotiate the Linares fight, and Oscar said, "Okay, here's what we'll do, Mikey. We won't give you a multi-fight deal, but at least take the fight with
that's
Linares
Linares.
50
That's
50." And
Linares,
Mikey
not
Garcia
Cotto.
still didn't want that fight.
But that's Linares, not Cotto.
I understand,
Cotto.
but what I'm
If you
saying is
beat
that Oscar
Cotto,
is willing to compromise. You're saying he's not. He's willing to do it.
no. But I'm pointing for one fighter, and it's a difference because Cotto is money. Linares is just a fight. Sadly, even though it's a good fight, it's just a fight the hardcore fans want to see. Nobody really knows of
Okay.
Linares. People know Cotto. If you get a body like Cotto, Oscar has made you something. He's gonna want something in return. You get a body like Linares, you have bodies that other people already caught, and you just got it for the hardcore fans. It's look like, hey, he's going to get sacrificed anyways. Linares is. You seen how he just got beat up by Campbell? That wasn't supposed to happen. You might as well make some quick money off of him anyways. That's the biggest fight you can make. They don't have anybody to get a belt to at 135. Yes, he'd be willing to compromise. They got Sadam Ali to get that belt too. I would look if I'm out, if I'm Oscar and I'm looking at the position, I'm saying no, do what we want. But at the same time, if I'm Spence and Legacy and a hardcore fan that I am, I want Spence to stay put. It's just because I don't want to see him rushed up to 160 to fight Canelo. What the hell
No,
is
that
that?
was not going to happen, dude. He could have did what Ray Leonard did. When Ray Leonard fought Ali Kalu, he took a one-off fight, took his lineal title and his alphabet title away from him, and then went back down to 147. Spence could have done the same thing. He could have got that ATG win right there. That would have been a legacy win,
I mean, it
and no one
sounds
would have
good.
knocked him for that.
It
That's what I'm
sounds good.
saying.
It
I think
sounds good, but it's Golden Boy. They got one cash cow. They got one cash cow. I mean, it sounds good to say what they did in the past, but we got to look at the promoter landscape. Sadly, they gonna push the man up to 160 and say, "Hey, we're gonna make Canelo at 157, Canelo at 150 this, 150 that," and then we
well, let
don't
me
get
ask you
none of
this:
these.
if that was the case, do you think Spence could beat Canelo?
Could be a good fight, but that's. I mean, I don't want to do the what ifs. I want to see the Thurman and the Spence.
I
I
got
want to know.
Canelo winning. Canelo wins that fight
Yeah,
at this
Canelo. Yeah,
stage.
yeah, it'd be a close fight either way. It's tough to tell. It's a toss up for me, man. It'd be a toss up. Maybe I'll edge it to Canelo, but then again, I can edge it to Spence. See how Canelo doesn't have good stamina. So Spence proved that he does have good stamina throughout the fights. So he has excellent conditioning compared to Canelo, and
And Canelo,
that would be detrimental to Canelo fighting a guy like that. So
Yeah,
and,
he could
and
beat him. He could
Canelo,
beat him.
Canelo has good defense outside of all the holding that Brook did. He can actually roll punches well, little head movement, little bit of little bit of movement overall. I just think Canelo would present more problems than Brook did.
yeah. Well, let me ask you this, guys. K Black is in the comment section. K Black Boxing. He
I
asked this
tell you one
question.
guy that roll punches well, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
And we heard what Earl Spence did to Floyd Mayweather in the sparring session. So I that may not be an issue because
No. What K Black in the comment section asked that, do you guys think that Ali will unify with Hurd, Charlo, or Lara? I say hell no.
Nope.
What do y'all
I'm going
think?
Nope.
to run for the hills.
One
I tell
word.
you
Nope.
say hell no, I say fuck no. No. Come on. Come on,
Nope.
man.
Okay, Black. Well, here's the thing, man. I'm gonna say this to K Black. K Black. This is what we all may more likely agree is gonna happen. Ali's gonna take two soft touches, two simple defenses, and then what's gonna happen next is that Kell Brook is gonna get that title shot. Watch. Why that's what's gonna happen. Kell Brook will be the opponent for Sadam Ali after his two interim fights. Watch, that's what's gonna happen, or perhaps one interim fight. Who knows? He may get one simple touch up at 154, and then he'll get the then Kell Brook fight's gonna be made. Watch, that's what's gonna happen.
You know,
Yeah.
the Kelbrook thing is making a lot of sense now, because once Kelbrook gets his hands on that belt, I think Kelbrook has mentioned that he actually wants to fight the guys at 154. So that
Yeah.
having that
You
WBO
know who
strap
he
would
could
start him
fight?
off pretty good.
You know who he could fight?
Who?
Which one?
Amir Khan. And
Oh
they
yeah,
both
Kyle will definitely go up to 154 to
yeah
take
for
that
him.
fight.
And you know what? And it's crazy because they both are the Middle Eastern descent. Khan
Oh,
just
Sadam
got off the
Ali?
show. You know,
Yeah,
that could be a big fight. It could be a
yeah, that's
big
true.
enough fight for them.
But
Khan
it's
already
Khan.
did business with Golden Boy by himself, apparently. So, you know, maybe. You know, they
Will
don't
Khan
consider
fight him
Khan a
now?
threat either. So, what's that?
Will Khan fight him now after all these years of making excuses?
I think he will fight Saddam Ali.
Well, problem is Khan hasn't been in the ring for almost 2 years now, and he doesn't look like he's in pretty good shape from what I've been hearing.
I
So
put Khan in the same category as Tyson Fury. I can't get nothing from them because I don't think their heads are right. Either
yeah,
one.
yeah,
You
Too
can
much
yeah, I
wife
definitely,
problems.
yeah, definitely agree with that one right there. I mean, even if he does take the fight, I would favor Brook to win that fight. I think Brook would steamroll him, even
I should,
despite the fact that he suffered 2 knockout losses, bad knockout losses. But I think Brook would still be more favored to win that fight.
I should
It won't
listen
be
to
50-50.
listen to Oscar post fight, but I'll just wait for the headlines because I'm sure he can detail a little bit of what they're gonna try to do, man. I wouldn't mind if they said we're gonna drop this 154 belt and send him back down to welterweight, but who drops a belt these days?
Well, that means Margarito will fight for that belt. Shit. That WBO may mandate that fight. Liam Smith versus Antonio Margarito. Watch.
I
that
mean,
that be the
where would that
Remember,
fight happen?
remember, Oscar made Canelo versus Lopez. I'm not shocked if Canelo Ali is in the making today. I'm not surprised they said, man, you just earned yourself Canelo backstage. I
yeah.
wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, they're gonna start calling the shots now. They're gonna start trying to get catchweight fights in. Watch. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna try to get guys down to below probably catchweight 152, 150, 151. That's what's gonna happen. You
Remember though,
know?
Chris Algieri lost it. Well, he fought for that WBO belt. So I wonder if he fight at a catchweight, will the WBO let him keep that belt, and if he's not fighting for the other belt.
Who, Chris Algieri?
Well, no. Like when Chris Algieri fought Manny, he fought for the higher WBO
Oh
title at
yeah, they didn't
47,
let yeah,
and
that's a good
they
point.
stripped
That's a
him.
good
But when Manny Pacquiao went to 54, and he did fight for the WBO belt, didn't he?
Yeah, what happened was
And they
when
let him keep it.
well, here's the thing: the WBO does not allow champions to hold titles and fight for other championships in other divisions. They don't allow that. That's their rule. So
But
if you're
they
gonna
allowed
fight for another
Pacquiao
champ,
to.
yeah. So
Didn't
this was this. If you're gonna fight for another title in another division, you gotta vacate the other title.
they? Yeah.
They won't allow you to keep it. That's a fucked up rule. They won't allow you to keep it even if you win or lose. If you decide to take that fight, we gotta strip you. That's how they work.
Yeah, so if he go up and just fight a
You
regular
know,
fight, if he fight Canelo with no belt on the line, I wonder if they're gonna strip him for that or not.
they're gonna
You
strip
know,
him. They're gonna
even
strip
with
him. They're gonna strip him
even with no
because that's what the
WBO belt.
WBO did with Canelo when he moved up to fight back up to middleweight.
No, they
He
didn't
said
strip
he
him. They didn't. He had to tell him. He had to tell him, hey, I don't want your belt no more. They never stripped him. That was one of my issues with 54. They was waiting on him after they had just waited on Floyd for years, and now
What are you talking about?
Canelo
The
was holding.
WBO?
Yeah, they didn't strip him.
You talking about the
He
WBO?
gave that belt away. Remember
That's true.
he
Yeah, he did.
he
Yeah,
he,
he
he
did
gave
after
it
the Liam
away.
Smith
He
fight.
defended. Yeah, he defended Liam Smith. Didn't no, he took it from Liam Smith, or he defended against him. One
Right.
defended against him.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens, man. But I know the WBO has that rule that you cannot either one, you cannot be a champion for 2 different divisions, and two, if you move up in weight and while you're a champion in one division, they're going to strip you if you do that and take that fight, whether you win, lose, or draw, or if you decide to go back down. That's how they do it because they're trying to collect their sanction fees. They're not going to allow their champions to hold up one of those divisions. So that's how they do it. But anyhow, y'all, it'd be definitely interesting to see what happens, man. Where it goes from here, where Sadam Ali does, and what his next move will be made next. All I can tell you is that he will be harassed with a lot of interviews, and people are gonna keep asking him questions. What are you gonna do next? What are you gonna do next? Who are you gonna fight? Who are you gonna fight? But my feeling is Kell Brook is gonna be the guy that's gonna be mentioned. Watch. So, anyhow, guys, let's talk about this real quickly. Deontay Wilder, this alleged situation. He turned down a 10 million pound offer to fight Anthony Joshua, but if
Quack quack.
you convert that to US dollars, it's $13.5 million in US. So it's been what 4 or 5 days now since Eddie Hearn said this had happened. and Wilder's team hasn't yet responded to that. So, what do you guys take on that? I'm gonna go down the road. Red Fox, what do you think?
Yo, that's a lot of Jamaican, like that's like one pound is like 150 something Jamaican, that's a lot of money to turn down. If it's true, that is. But that just goes to show that if it's true, that just goes to show that this guy really is about the money. All this, legacy crap. The man really is about the money, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just wish he would be honest about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, interesting point. Mike, what do you think, man?
Um, First of all, I want to find out if it's true. So that's just me. Um, if he turned it down, I've told you before, Dan. When it comes to this proposed fight, this is nothing new to me. Folks give out an initial offer, they turn it down, hoping for more. Um, Eventually, they have a meeting of the minds, and something gets agreed to. This is all just for me beginning stages of negotiation. It's just being put forward in the 2017 context with social media and whatnot. I'm not surprised that he turned down an initial offer. That's what happens when it comes to these proposed big fights. It is what it is.
Mm. Well, good, interesting point. So you're saying that he turned this down. Hopefully, he can get something more out of it. Is that what you're saying? He'll
Yeah.
say, okay, like saying,
What did I,
well,
what, what did I, what did
I'll
I
take
tell
11
you?
million plus back in, something like that, something around
Yeah.
that neighborhood,
What,
maybe.
what did I tell you about value?
Yeah,
and,
value,
and you shoot for high,
right?
and then you settle for something lower, hoping that it's higher than what you initially thought you would get.
Yeah,
This is what's done.
yeah. I mean, but $13.5 million, man. I
I,
mean,
I, I hear you. I hear
yeah,
you. I hear you. But remember the Leonard Hearns analogy I used last time I was here,
yeah,
and how Leonard turned down the initial offer to fight Hearns.
right.
He sought more. He got more.
That's true.
Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if Wilder thinks that he could get more, and given in a 2017 context,
Yeah.
given the big money that's been offered other fights out over the past 5, 10 years, he's probably think he can get more. Now, will he? Who knows? But you don't really accept an initial offer when a quote unquote super fight is first proposed. You don't do it.
Right. Yes, and you may have a point there because that's what Golovkin did a year back with Canelo. He turned down a flat fee of $10 million, and perhaps now he's got more than that. I think he got what 13 plus back in, I believe. So he got a better deal out of it, I think. So that's a pretty good point. Low, what do you think?
I just wonder if he put one of his fucking rhymes in it when he said no, you know. 13 million, not enough to feed my children. I want billions to land a punch like the pilgrims. Like, well, I don't fucking know. I just wondered if he put one of them shits in there. Look, Deontay Wilder full of shit. And it just is what it is. He trying to publicly shame and embarrass his way into some money instead of being 6'7" and knocking his way into some money. And that's to me that's problematic because one man has earned what he's getting. Like it's sad that our heavyweight champion, and he has to be from the South, strong black man doing this bullshit. To me,
Well,
I don't
well,
like
but to
it.
be fair though, I didn't think about this. Mike brought up a good point. What if he's doing what
No, no, no. See,
Golovkin
I
and Leonard
dismissed that
did?
point. I
He's
dismissed that point because of
oh,
this.
why is that?
Because of his own damn words. It ain't about the money. It ain't a don't play with me. Don't play it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a character, be a fighter. And if
But
you are gonna be a
you
character,
know fighters
no, hold
talk
on,
that
hold
way
on.
all the
But yeah,
time.
yeah, 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 yeah. But no, they don't. Not all fighters. Just the fighters we need to point out
I
and
didn't
tell them
say
to
all
stop
fighters.
talking.
I
Yeah,
said fighters. I didn't say
yeah,
all.
and if it's him, I'm gonna point him out. If it's the next man, I'm gonna point him out. Do not lie to me, man. You ain't gotta lie to me like an idiot. You ain't gotta play the public. You can go convince the public with that right hand that you can land and throw. And until you can do that, I don't even look at Deontay Wilder like a man in this thing. I look at the other side and say, yo, they try to give you what you claimed you wanted. I don't want to hear anything else from them. personally, he's a joke to me, and that's why I just started out with a joke. That's what he deserves. He deserves Def Comedy Jam, not seriousness.
Well, again, let's
Does
be
he
fair. You're
still?
jumping the gun here. We haven't heard anything yet. I know it's been 4 days now. We got to give him, he's got to respond to it. So we got to make sure it's 100% accurate.
No, the
Now,
problem is he doesn't need to respond to it. His people need to like, dude, your fighter need to shut up and throw hands. You need to worry about this. Deontay Wilder need to be somewhere in the gym getting better. Like in
that's
the
what he's doing,
Eddie
bro.
Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn. No, no, no. Get like he's his own personal PR and like, dude, you come on, man. Like, stop it, man. Eddie Hearn blatantly out here doing his job. He's the one keeping this shit hot. These headlines have fell off until he said this because it's not hot no more hearing him beg and then say 50-50 and people just say I ain't trying to hear that shit. Eddie Hearn literally say I offered a deal. I put this out there. What else could you want, man? You got to knock down our walls. You make $13 million. You ain't got to hear from no other side from me. $13 million is done. I done ran through the house. I done tore my house down, wrecked my car, cut a couple
Well, let me
trees
ask you
down,
this. Let me
all
ask
that
you
shit.
this.
Let him
What if
know
it's
it,
13?
Jimmy.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. What if it's 13.5 million plus Wilder wanted some back end money? Well, and Hearn said no. You think that Wilder is right to say, can I get a back end deal out of that? Hello? Is Wilder within his right to negotiate that?
Man, I don't know, man. 13
You
million,
don't
man.
know. Come on, man. You seem to have an opinion on everything. Come on.
Let me say that 13 million. I'm gonna say it like this: guys like Victor Ortiz was the champion when Mayweather came back and fought him.
Right.
He took like 2 million. Mayweather made 32 million. He went
Right.
in there.
But
I
he's
don't
in
know
a
nothing.
higher
I don't know
position
nothing
than
about no
Victor Ortiz. So,
percentage.
so that's a wrong-headed analogy.
No, it ain't. No, it
Yes, it
ain't.
is.
How?
Yes, it is.
How?
Victor Ortiz was known as a quitter before the Mayweather fight.
No, no. Victor Ortiz had just went to war with Berto, went to war with Lamont Peterson,
And he had also
and
quit before then.
people were
He had also
receiving that.
quit before then. His
Yeah, but
name,
people were
his rep, and
receiving
his
him now.
value, his name, his rep, and his value when he fought Mayweather is not the same as Wilder's rep and whatever it is
I,
now. It's
no, no,
not.
no. Okay, well, who has the better? That Berto win is better than anything Deontay Wilder has done his whole career. It
What?
is. He took the
What?
title. He took the
Again,
title from Andre Berto. He went up in weight
no.
and
Stop it.
defeated
Stop
Andre Berto,
Oh,
who was
dude.
supposed to.
Stop it.
Shane
Stop it.
Mosley,
Stop it.
Shane
Stop
Mosley
it.
was supposed to lose to Andre Berto before the damn hurricane in Haiti. This was the Wilder beat the other Haitian, the second or fourth best Haitian. Victor Ortiz beat the second best one. Or
And even if that's the case, he still quit before then.
Lamont
He
Peterson,
still
he beat
quit.
Lamont
Yeah, he
Peterson.
quit,
Wilder
man.
doesn't have. Look, Wilder doesn't got no Lamont Peterson or Berto on his resume.
And the fact is, Ortiz still quit. You can't dispute that. You can't.
But I'm not saying that's not what he negotiated is what he got. He was the champion. He was a champion, and let's be honest, he was supposed to be the next Golden Boy. He was supposed to get a Canelo fight soon after this. It was him or Canelo. It wasn't just Canelo. People forget this. Victor Ortiz was popular. He was the
Nah,
next
he was
Canelo.
not popular.
Yes,
He
he
was popular.
was.
He wasn't
He was
popular.
supposed to get that Canelo fight, yeah.
Yes, he was. It
Come
was
on
either
now.
him. It was either him or Canelo. It wasn't just. It
You're,
wasn't just
you're
Canelo was
reaching.
finna run
You're
off with
reaching.
this.
You're reaching. You're reaching with that,
No,
brother.
I'm
You're
not. No,
reaching.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Victor Ortiz was the
Yeah, I knew you
Victor. It
was.
was either Victor Ortiz or Canelo Alvarez. Victor Ortiz got his jaw broke, and that's what stopped it. Him and Canelo was gonna
Yeah,
do
that's why
crazy numbers.
Canelo ended up fighting Lopez instead.
Yeah. But let me just say this, man. Let me just give you my point on this. If it is definitely true, man, I gotta say this. I'm gonna be honest, man. This is his biggest payday of his career. I know, Mike, you bring some good points, but this is your biggest payday in your career. This is the most money you're gonna get in any fight that you have at that point. I just don't see any other reason you would turn it down. To me, here's what the analogy I would use. I would do what Bernard Hopkins did when he took a 22% split against Trinidad, which was what $2.5 million. He didn't get no back end money from it. Trinidad got 9 million plus back end and plus other other shares and whatnot, other shares of revenue and whatnot. What Hopkins did, he went in there and he beat him, and then what happened? He put himself in a position for bigger purses. The same thing for De La Hoya. So I just really believe that $13.5 million is just an offer that you cannot turn down. That's just my take on it. If it's 100% true that they come out and confirm, yeah, we turned it down. Of course, there's two sides of every story, but to me, I feel that he should take this decision.
But you got
13
to,
million pounds at
but,
that.
but you got to remember now, at the time that Bernard negotiated that, went into that series, where was he going? Where was he going? He had split from the Goose from Goose and Tudor.
Right.
He had split from Butch Lewis, who was robbing him. Um, he didn't have much choice than other to take
Yeah.
that.
Right. That's true. That's true. But let's lose this another perspective. What was Wilder's
We have
last
to,
payday? 1.5 million, right?
we also have to keep in mind, Dan, that at the time he negotiated that, this was the same Hopkins that turned down a fight with Calzaghe.
Yeah.
I would argue that the man Wilder
So
has
where do you want to go?
no way to go because he's talking himself into that position. When you tell me that it's not about the money, and what dog, I'm just gonna take you for your word. I'm not gonna let you spit in my face and lie to me, and then no, we can't do that, man. We can't do that.
Scorsese, why are you acting like championship fight? You know by now that championship fighters are also championship liars.
No. I see. No,
Why are
see.
you being
Everybody's not doing it.
why are you
But
being extra loyal?
everybody's not
Come
doing
on.
that. That's what I'm saying, man.
Well,
Everybody's not going there, man. Like
But at the same
when
time,
Spence said,
at the same time, a lot of fighters are. A lot of
when
fighters talk
Spence,
that mess
no,
about, well,
when
it's
Spence
about service
said,
when everybody knows that money plays a
when
part.
Spence said, ain't no step
yeah.
aside money, ain't no amount of agreement, ain't no none of that you can do. He meant it. He stood on it, and I can't praise that. I can't praise Wilder in that same pond. I can't respect him the same way because
And you
it just
tell,
ain't right
It's
to do
prize
so.
fighting after all.
It is.
and come back to me 3 years later after Spencer's still champion and see if he's talking that same tune. I bet you he
Yep.
won't.
Well,
I bet you
let's
he
be fair
won't.
though.
Spence go turn into Furman.
He gonna fight all them in
Well,
that
let's be
division.
true there. Smith just said that he want legacy fights, right? He did turn down one of them. So
You tell me
Yo,
in 3 years. You tell me in 3 years, once he's become champion. Let's just say he beats Thurman and he fights Thurman. He beats Thurman and he's looking up and there's a prospect of a Canelo fight at
Yeah,
54, 60
that's
or
the
whatever.
point.
Is he going to talk that same way?
But
No, he
Mike,
ain't.
that's the point. That's the point. We get it. When you get to us, Wilder has not touched even that. He ain't
You
even at
talking
the
that way now
step.
because he's hungry
true.
and he sits down with
But no, I
every
get
champion
that.
been
I
established
get
champion
that.
can
I
talk the
get that, and
same
I
thing. Fine.
understand that. But Wilder's supposed to be hungry. He's the guy that said, "I want to prove myself. I want to prove myself," and they won't let me prove. But when it come to here, prove yourself. Here's a check to do it. And we hear Eddie Hearn say, he turned me down. I had to hang my phone up. I can't support it. I can't support it. It's not right.
Well, low. At the same time, you got to give him a chance to respond, though. You got to let him address that. I know it's been a few days, but still, you got to let him address that situation, though, and see what he says about that. Because there's always two sides to every story. Believe me, I see what you're coming from, but might bring up some excellent points because I forgot to mention as well. Bernard Hopkins turned down a 60-40 split initially from Roy Jones back in 2003, and they still ended up fighting.
Exactly.
So he got a bigger deal out of that because if he, down the road when he beat Oscar De La Hoya, he set himself up in a position to say, you know what, Roy, now I'm in a position to get a bigger purse from you because I just knocked off the cash cow.
Yeah. Who cared
So,
about the fight? Who cared about
no,
the
I'm
fight?
just telling you, Mike brings up a good point, something I
Yeah,
didn't think
but we
about
got to
after the
remember,
day.
we also boxing fans. He should have took that deal for the fans. Instead, we got two old dudes in the ring that night.
Yeah, people still want to see those two fight.
They supposed to be no. I get it. At their career, it wasn't what you. No, come on, man. It does not.
Yeah, they still want.
It does not
People
come.
still want to see
But
that
hold on.
fight.
But does it compare to where to the rematch when it was supposed to happen? No, it doesn't compare. It does.
yeah, the fight itself probably was a letdown, but people were still raving for that rematch for years until they finally got it. People were bragging about it,
I hear
even
you.
if they were old as hell.
Man, that
People
thing.
still wanted that rematch.
If you make a top 10 list of fights that went past their expiration date,
What do you mean
probably
expiration date?
somebody on Google, somebody has this probably on Google now. Top 10 fights that went past the expiration date.
What do
Beat
you
Hot
mean?
Roy Jones rematch, man. That's
What do you mean
expired, man.
expiration date? What are you
That
talking
shit was
Follow
about?
and attack
expired, man.
you.
That was expired. That shit was supposed to happen. That should have been done. It should have
Bruh,
been done.
Holyfield Tyson, that well, as far as rematches concerned, you're talking about rematches. Okay, look, first things first, man. Well, aside from that, I see what you're saying, but here's the thing: there's many fights that don't get happen at a time that should have happened. Holyfield Tyson, the first fight should have happened in 1991. It didn't happen. It took 6 years, 6 to 7 years for that fight to happen, and it did. Okay.
And the
Hold on, same
the
thing with
reasons
Pacquiao
was
and
real
Mayweather. That fight
legit.
should have happened 8 years.
Okay,
2009.
the
It
reason
didn't
for
happen.
Holyfield Tyson was real legit though. Like Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones was still fighting. They hadn't had to take no break or none of that. And I can agree with you. I can agree with you on Pacquiao Mayweather, but like I said, that would be on the list of expired fights as well. And once again, it wouldn't have compared to me as a fan. I know those two in their prime would have put on a better show than
Well, I
they
would
did
say this:
2 years
Hopkins
ago.
and Jones rematch was a better fight than Pacquiao Mayweather. I'm sorry, that was a better fight. Even though it was a bit of a letdown, but that's still a better fight than the Pacquiao Mayweather. Would you agree?
Uh,
Yeah.
I ain't
Come
seen
on,
it.
man. Be
I
honest.
ain't seen it in a long time. We really got. I ain't seen it in a long time.
But look, listen. At the bottom line is though, Mike brings up an excellent point. There has been many fighters like Leonard Hopkins and Golovkin recently who turned down big paydays, their biggest paydays, to try to get more out of the deal of a anticipated fight, and they
I
did.
mean, it sucks for us as fans, hardcore fans
Yeah.
especially, but we have to understand,
But
being long-time observers of the
in
sport,
that case,
this is the ugly part of the sport, the unfortunate part of the sport that you just have to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. It
I
is.
just got to call
We
it
have to
this
deal
way.
with it. At the end of the day, they're still negotiating, so that's like the
but in that
positive side of
case,
things. Go ahead. Go ahead, Red.
Go ahead, Red.
but in that case, but in that case, then who will Wilder fight in the meantime to increase his stock for that fight? Maybe they
Ortiz. Ortiz.
like Hearn initially planned for him to fight.
Ortiz.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
the rumor
Luis
has,
Ortiz.
Ortiz.
yeah, the
It's
rumor
funny.
and mill
It's
is that
funny
Ortiz
that
and
they
Wilder
haven't
is going
even
to
spoke
happen
about him. They
in
haven't
spring.
spoke about him since his freedom or whatever. They haven't said a word about him.
Well, the rumor mill is that Wilder and Ortiz fight is going to happen in spring, bro.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
Yeah, that's going to happen in spring.
Huh?
Mm.
Well, maybe that's why he's turning down 13 million because he
Ortiz
has
of a 1 year layoff.
I think Eddie Hearn should just
Interesting.
go on with his charge and ignore him and do their thing, and that's probably why he's turning it down. Who knows? Still, I wouldn't turn down $13 million. I'd be in that ring.
13 if you can get 15 plus.
I'm in that
Say
ring for 30. I'm in that ring
later
for
on this year.
13. I'm in that ring for 13.
You don't always
All things ain't promised.
you don't always accept the first big money offer
Wilder
that they
broken
give you.
hands. Wilder broken hands. The bicep injury he had that one time. All things ain't promised, man. I got to go get it, and a rematch, if anything, make a little bit more money, man. I don't think that's. I kind of I just to tell people to quit fucking around. I kind of hope the man hurt his hand. Like I really do. I'm tired of getting jerked around. They should be jerked around. Like go fucking fight. This your job, man. This what you picked to do. Fuck them. If they don't want to fight for me, and
Maybe they don't want to fight for you. What are you
so
talking
yeah,
about?
they don't want to fight. I'm a fan.
But
I'm a fan. I put my money on the table.
Right.
I
that's a
hope
good
he jerk me around. I hope if you're gonna jerk me
that's a
around,
good
I hope you get
that's a
jerked
good
around.
setup though, you know.
What'd you say, Red? Red, you there, brother? Yeah, I can't hear you, bro.
That's a good setup, you know, with Joshua fighting Parker. Yes, I'm here, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I think that's a good setup next year with Parker and Joshua then.
What I
Oh,
think is
you hear what I said?
Nah,
go ahead.
you faded it out, brother. Do you want to go ahead and
Hello?
say something? Go ahead, repeat it.
Damn, man.
Hello?
Yeah,
You
we can hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Alright, what a good setup, you know, Parker and AJ and Wilder versus Ortiz happening next year. That would be a good setup. And maybe have the winner of those fights fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. But you know what though, Champ Ross in the comment section did bring up a good point. If the Wilder Ortiz fight does not happen, then Dominic Brazil will be the next opponent, which is another possibility as well. I mean, I would be mad about that fight, but I'd rather see the Ortiz fight because that's the most one of the most anticipated fights at heavyweight. That's something we wanted
Yeah,
to see for a long time. So,
I think
If they
and
Wilder
why?
do the
easily
Brazil
knocks
fight,
out
they going
Brazil
for
too.
another photo op.
Nah, come on, man. Don't be too pessimistic about it, bro.
Yeah, they are. If they get that fight, they going for a photo op, another Bermain Stavern photo op, another popularity grab. And I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but I mean,
Well, first
turning
of
down
all,
you turning
you
down
don't.
13
Well,
people.
first of all, you don't blame them. You blame for WBC for making that Brazil number 7 contender, and the other guy he fought number 11 contender.
But
You blame
yeah,
them for making it a.
Yep, I agree.
That's what you blame.
No,
Yeah.
I think he should be rated. He should be rated. No, Brazil should be rated.
No, my point is he should not been in a position to fight for an eliminator. That's the point.
right.
That's true.
Number 6 and number 12 just fight for eliminator
There's
like
no way
that.
that fight should have been an eliminator. No way.
You know
That's the
what
point.
though? Yeah, the thing is too, they initially made that fight as a final title eliminator, and then based off the protest and the
Yeah.
backlash that WBC got from that, Mauricio Suman just set the record straight by saying, you
No,
know what,
Yeah,
that fight
because
was
even
not a
Dillian
final
White
title eliminator.
complained.
no,
It was
no,
just an eliminator.
I'm not worried about the positioning. I mean, I'm just saying if they say no Ortiz and they say Brazil, then they're going for the photo op rather than the resume and the better win. That's all. I don't mind Brazil being ranked at all, though. I mean, I can't expect none of these belt bodies, but Brazil, he's credible, but shit, Ortiz is the fight that people want to see.
I mind him being ranked because he should have been ranked in that position in the first place.
He knocked out that undefeated prospect, man. That was impressive, man. That dude was whooping his ass.
It wasn't.
Brazil,
It was an exciting fight. Doesn't mean it was impressive.
I
I
mean,
mean, I go now.
it was impressive, man.
It was an exciting
that was
fight. It wasn't impressive. There's a
well,
difference.
I guess you can
It
say
was a
that, but
fun fight.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
fun fight.
Uzi guy was supposed to beat him. Uzi was supposed to beat him.
That was just a fun fight. That doesn't put any on the impressive meter. Come on.
I mean, he stopped him in 5 rounds. Uzi came out. He showed he had a skill set. He
And,
showed he could punch.
and what you want for that? A cookie, a biscuit, or donut? I don't get
Yeah, he
nothing
get
from that.
something. No, he get a WBC. He get a WBC rank. You know, he got that. Instead, I mean, it is what it is.
I
Brazil.
mean, we just get upset for them just putting Sadam Ali in the position that he get to get the Cotto fight. But you're gonna give him credit for that? No.
No. But at least Dominic Brazil is fighting in a division, and he did just knock out an undisputed prospect. He has been in the ring with Amir Mansour, Fred Cassie, Joshua too. You know, he's 4-3-1 in his last, so he deserves something. But I
Undisputed.
get it.
He was lucky to
Undisputed
get.
prospect.
He was lucky to
I mean,
get.
excuse
He
me.
was.
Yeah, undefeated. I said undisputed.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
said undisputed.
Yeah,
you're
my
undefeated,
bad.
brother.
Undefeated prospect. My bad. I got ahead of myself. Undefeated prospect. So
Yeah. Yeah, look, here's the thing. No one argues that Dominic Brazil should not be ranked. He definitely deserves to be ranked. He does, he's earned it. But the fact is that he's been put in the position to get a title shot above everyone else, above people who actually are ranked higher than him, like Dillian White, Luis Ortiz, and who else is in there who's ranked higher? I think who else is ranked higher than him? I think Carlos Takam was ranked higher than him at one point before he got that title shot against Joshua in the IBF. So you can see why people have a little gripe about this. If anybody who deserves a shot is definitely Ortiz because he's earned it.
I'm gonna tell you
And
something I heard from a source that I don't know if this happened or not in this case, but something I heard from a source was sometimes these bodies do send out these, basically invites to the fighters and they say, yo, this your shot. And they don't hear nothing back. So that could happen in this instance, and I don't know. Like we never know that because people sometimes don't speak up on their own behalf. But I think like I know Oscar Rivas in there, and the way they was talking about him, he's ready to go. So if they passed up on him, I mean, I don't know if I could believe what that source said because
Who
Oscar
passed up
Rivas.
Oscar Rivas? Who Wilder?
No, I'm just saying if Oscar Rivas was there and the WBC skipped over him, from what I've heard, Oscar Rivas is ready to go. So if they did send out letters, because a lot of times they say the sanctioning bodies will send out letters, and it's your job to respond to them, or they just like we'll do our own thing. So
Right.
you got to have the right kind of management. You got to have the right kind of team. But I think Oscar Rivas has that, and he wouldn't like. So I'm trying. My point probably might be moot, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, man, guys like who Bellew, he would. I'm looking at the rankings. Bellew had a match. Wack was in a match with Dillian White.
Right.
Andy Ruiz. Have we heard him complain about anything? Like when you don't hear these guys complaining, it's possible that hey, they got the note and said, "Fuck it, I don't feel like it."
That's probably a good point. Maybe they are probably getting reached out before they're getting sought out before the WBC goes down the line of their rankings. So if they don't respond, they're gonna move to the next person. So that's a good possibility. You could be right on that. I didn't really think about that. So but then again, that's just only speculation. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, but I definitely told her so. I said, "Nah, I kind of don't believe that these people
Well,
they busy
Well,
buying
the
their great."
WBC that may be the WBC, but the WBA certainly don't do that because we see what they did with Dimitri Bivol and Trent Broadhurst. They
And, and,
sanctioned that fight for the title.
and there's a history here regarding the WBC. I'm getting real nerdy here and wonky, so I apologize.
It's all good.
If you look at Junior Jones, if you remember him,
Yeah,
back in his bantamweight days,
yeah,
he was basically ranked 1, 2 across the board, IBF, BA, BC. He won the BA title right against Julio. Well, this is what people don't realize. He was ranked number 1, 2 by the BC um, at the time that Yoshiro Tatsuyoshi hurt his eye in his title win over Greg Richardson. He was skipped for that title shot that Victor Rabanales got for the interim title, in which he won the full title eventually by beating Tatsuyoshi a year later in '93. So there's a history here with the WBC, to Scorsese's point, where they could skip and omit a fighter. And I use Junior Jones' example as Exhibit A for that.
right, right. Yeah, that is a good point. That's a good point. Then it also happened to what's his name? A fighter before him. I can't recall. Dude, what was that fighter's name?
I kind of faded out. Could you repeat the question?
No. I was saying that's a good point because I think it also happened to another fighter before him. I think it was who was it before him? In my recollection, I got to get my senses here. I know that's a good point you brought up about Junior Jones. But I think it was also happened to. Did it happen to Bernard at one time? Did it happen to him at one point? Well, actually, he was a champion, but who was it who kept getting passed up for opportunities while he couldn't get shots?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't know that fighter, man. Who was it? It was that. It was this particular guy, man. Who kept
90s,
getting. I'm sorry.
90s or 80s?
It was '90s, early '90s.
90s, 90s. Oh gosh, I know who
You
you're
know what? I
talking
think it
about.
was Brian Mitchell with super featherweight, and of course there was political reasons behind that because he was South African. Of
Well,
course, at
no,
that time,
it wasn't Mitchell. It was someone else, but I can't remember. But I know who you're talking about. Gosh,
oh,
I get the idea. He's in my head. I just can't remember him right now. I just can't remember the name.
yeah, it definitely wasn't the '90s, but we'll definitely come back to it because I thought it was Mitchell, but yeah,
No,
you could
what
be right.
Mitchell's situation was that he got the title. It was just that the WBA, once he won the title, they made a rule that no South African could fight for the title or could defend the title in South
Yeah,
Africa because of apartheid. And so they made a
right.
deal with him where he could keep the belt, but he couldn't defend in his home country. That's why all of his title defenses were on the road.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I could have read somewhere though when he became a mandatory challenger. I think he was a unified #1 challenger at one point. I think it was to Danny Lopez or somebody, one of those guys. But I have to go back and check. But he was getting passed up for title shots when he was a #1 rated contender. So I think that was him. But I have to go back and check and see who was that fighter because I thought it was him. But I know it's not like in the black, and then back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, that many #1 rated fighters were getting passed up title shots, particularly the Black Murder Road members. They were always getting passed up when they were rated number one in their
Yes.
in their divisions. Always get passed up. So, but yeah, man, that's a good point. It could be a possibility to Scorsese's point that that's what's happening. Guys are getting sought out and they're not responding to the requests. So that's why the sanctioned bodies like the WBC is moving down the list and see who's willing to take the shot. But obviously the WBA doesn't work that way. They're gonna sanction whoever they want to sanction for the title. As long as you're rated in the top 15.
I looked up what when I got that information about the sanctioning body. It's like when they had those. Remember they had a conventions and like the top 15 manager team, they all invited to those conventions. And some when they get there, they make themselves available. The team is available. The fighter will not get sent the information.
Right.
His team is sent the information, and if your team doesn't even want to consult you on the information, they don't have to. Depending on what kind of contractual obligations you have, if they don't think it's profitable. So, like when some guys are complaining, say Sullivan Barrera, for instance, Kathy Duva could have easily got something to say, okay, you versus you in this, and just not fucking even showed it to them, depending on what kind of deal they got. So when this shit is sticky, man. Like they could be corrupt, but at the same time, and I think they are, regardless of what they say, they could be, but at the same time, some of these promoters and managers could be promoter, manager, whoever they send to first, or whoever they have on the contact list for you. And some fighters might meet a little different. So some fighter may come along and say, well, that ain't how they learn how to contact me. We did it this way. Other people would say it could be this way or that way. But either way, you're supposed to make yourself available to them. All right, they supposed to send something out, and you're supposed to then make yourself available. It's just like if your people don't report to a purse bid, you're not gonna come looking for you and calling for your bid. It's your job to show up and do your damn thing. But maybe some of these fighters just ain't fucking. Bro, this is what it is. They not interested. The managers, maybe the manager do go to them and say, "Yo, come here, and we're gonna do it." And the fighter not interested. They promote ain't gonna come out and say, "Oh, he's a duck." It ain't good business.
I want to give kind of a bit of a breaking news here. We initially talked about
man?
Cotto, and Ali. Shout out to Erica Fernandez from Black Sports Online. She's reporting that Cotto didn't go to the post-fight presser, and he's heading to the hospital for immediate surgery on a torn bicep. Yeah.
Well, you know what though? Here's the thing, Miguel Cotto. This is not nothing new because Miguel Cotto, whenever he loses a fight, he never does post-fight interviews after a loss. He usually never does it. He never shows up after a loss. So, but as far as the injury is concerned, I definitely believe it was genuine. I believe you on that part. But yeah. I mean, I thought, I think, yeah, you know what though? I think it's surprising that he won't do it because this is his last fight. Why don't you just do that? Why just be a little gracious enough to just do a post-fight, interview, to the press?
Oh, you said Cotto didn't do an interview?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He went to the emergency room?
Yeah, she's reporting that Cotto is at the hospital right now, going for surgery. So.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, he can't be mad at that, but at least he could have at least done some couple interviews. Say, hey, you know what, guys, I gotta make this because I gotta head to the hospital.
I was shocked he stayed in the ring when Miguel Cotto. I think HBO made some kind of deal to say you keep your ass in this ring. Don't you? No matter what, you talk to us after the fight because he done took some L's and vamped. So I'm surprised he even stayed in the ring. But I ain't mad at him though, man. Shit, he put on a fight. That's a battle. You ain't obligated to that mess. Same the NBA.
Yeah, the same thing, man. Same thing. But anyway, y'all, I'm not sure if you guys caught the earlier fight over there, but I know Low Place did. I'm not sure about you, Mike. Did you catch the David Price fight today over there at I think it was in Essex, England today?
No, no, I had to head in to work, and by the time I got home, I didn't see it. I just saw the Ray Vargas fight, the Cotto fight, and the breaking news in terms of Superfly 2.
When you said I didn't see it, I was thinking, lucky you. That shit was horrible.
Yeah, that was all I gotta say is that was not a good performance by David Price. I thought he lost that fight, to be honest with you.
I
Even
mean,
though
what was it? Was it more boring than Huey Fury and Parker?
actually the Parker Fury fight was a little bit more exciting than that one, the David Price's fight. I mean, you know what? No, you know what? Let me say this: there was definitely a lot of blows exchanged between David Price and the contender that he was fighting, the other guy, the Journeyman, by so-called. But what I think what it is that David Price just, his punches didn't really have no snap in it. He didn't seem like he was committing on the shots. He was moving too much on the back foot. I think what he was trying to do, he was afraid to engage with the guy because he didn't want to risk of getting knocked out. We all know that he doesn't have a good chin, so he was just being extra cautious. He wasn't willing to exchange with the guy. In the later rounds, he was getting clipped a lot with the left hook because, obviously I said this early in the fight. I was like, look, he's keeping that right hand very low. He's going to get clipped with that left if he keeps it low. And what happened? He was getting clipped with it, and he got rocked a few times. But I was surprised he was able to take those shots, but he was definitely hurt. So I felt he lost that fight, and they gave it to him. I think they gave him all the rounds. It was a 6-round fight, So my thing is that where does he go from here at this point? I think he's going to take on 2 more local fights, and then you might say, okay, he's somewhat of a contender again. Let's get him in there against the likes of Tyson Fury, whatnot, because he said he wants that fight. Anthony Joshua. Definitely I'm picking Anthony Joshua to win that fight now, So, yeah.
So build his confidence up, fool the public again, and once he gets that big fight, he'll get knocked out.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, that's what it is. I think that's what it is. If you give him a couple more local area fights, they're going to be. It's more of a confidence booster. And then he'll probably, then they'll get him in there against the likes of Joshua Wilder. I'm not Wilder. I'm sorry, Joshua and Fury. And obviously, Tyson Fury I think at this state would beat David Price. Even at the state, the condition he's in, he'll still beat him. Because David Price right there in today did not look impressive at all. Had in there. So, yeah, nothing to cry spilled milk over. That's what I see it. So we'll see what's happened here. Oh, Mr. Boxing today is in the comment section. Let me bring him in here because I know he wanted to talk about the heavyweights in the fight tonight, man. Let me give him the link. Yeah, so that's my take on it. Lo, what you guys say about the David Price fight? I know we talked about this earlier. What do you think?
I will not speak on such things as I witnessed earlier. I will not. Nope.
That's
not
beneath. That was
not
beneath.
even breathing life into that shit. Not even breathing life into that shit. No.
So to talk about that is beneath you.
That I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't even gonna act high and mighty, but I ain't breathing life in that shit. Nope. No.
Well, other than that, I know you guys saw the Ray Vargas fight. I mean, he got the unanimous decision over Oscar De Grate. So, okay, good win. I mean, obviously Vargas didn't Rigondeaux turn down the fight against Vargas, or Vargas turned down the fight against him? How did that work?
I do not know.
Well, I heard of those conflictive issues in there why that fight never got made. So, I mean, Ray Vargas, I mean, he's at super bantamweight. He's a champion. How did you guys think about his performance? I'm gonna start with you.
Solid.
Mike.
Solid.
Solid. Okay.
Wasn't spectacular. My worry about Ray Vargas. He's skilled. He has height, but I worry about his face, and what I mean is, he cuts pretty easy.
Right.
My fear is he's going to be in a position in a real tough fight where he may get stopped because of cuts. He has the potential to last a while, but that's not saying much because outside of Rigo, there's not a lot of depth and talent at 122 unless Zolani Tete decides to move up in the division and just watch out. But yeah, he's a solid fighter who's going to reign for a good minute. I just worry about whether his face will be able to hold up because he seems to have some soft tissue issue there.
Yeah, I hear it. That's a good point. Excellent point there. I think it was a very good performance as well. I mean, it's nothing to say. Well, it's a spectacular, as you say. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do.
Definitely see what happens from here. I mean, hopefully we can get the Jesse Magdaleno fight. That'd be a good unification bout. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
So that definitely, hopefully that can happen from there. What do you think about it, Lo?
I think Magdaleno can beat him. I wasn't impressed none tonight. Didn't keep the guy at bay with the jab. He could have, and he threw this combination I saw working for him. Not enough. He should have led with the right hand and not fell in with it. He should have just threw it straight and then came with his stiff jab right behind it. Not a hook, but the stiff jab right behind it. And he was landing it whenever he threw it, but he wouldn't let it go. He got lazy and he just started looking for uppercuts. When I'm boxing and my body's tired, that's the punch I tend to start throwing it. For some reason, it's just not as hard to throw as the other punches because you don't have to lift that shoulder. Maybe I don't know what it is, but it's something about throwing that punch when your arm weary that's a little bit easier. And that's something I saw. His arm is kind of gave out on him, and then you start to see some of the power came off his shots when he was throwing them. Even the uppercut started to look like arm punches. So I don't know how confident I am. This dude was cutting the distance real easy on him, real hard. Uh, Getting to the bodies, landing a lot of overhand rights, a lot of left hooks too. And those cuts is ridiculous, man. What I don't get is why these fighters take what they presume to be easy fights that have no legacy behind them, and they still
Yeah,
take this massive amount of punishment. Like, dude, that's a year or two off a career right there, and that's a sit out you about to have to do because of them cuts. You
Yeah,
could have been in a unification bout,
yeah.
bruh.
Scorsese for me is not the fact that he just took a physical toll. It was a physical punishing fight. I just think he's one of these guys who has tender skin. You may have to have some surgery for it to try to alleviate that somewhat. You mentioned what's coming up, Dan. Two opponents
yeah,
possible is Diego De La Hoya, who I believe is ranked second by the BC. Another
right.
fight could be against Jamie McDonald, who's moving up to
Yeah, I heard him.
122.
Right.
Vargas, he won the belt over in the UK. I could see a scenario where he could go back to the UK for some coin to fight Jamie McDonald.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, that could be another good fight that be made. I mean, that be I think no, well, that would be a
Oh,
pretty good fight if you ask me. I think that'd be
what
another.
about the low blows by this kid? Damn.
What low blows? We talking
Man,
about?
he was hitting that. We were on the hangout. We was just back and forth. Shit, low again. Low. He was trying ridiculously low. Now I get it. The other guy was headbutting him, but at the same time, it was his issue. This guy's head doesn't even reach your head. You're
Right.
bringing your head down to him, giving your height up. So I really couldn't make a cry for him. But Vargas, man, I thought he was banging the button on this dude, man. Like,
What about Ryosuke Iwasa? What about that one? You think that'd be a good unification bout for Vargas if they can
Don't
make
know
that
much
fight?
about don't know enough about him to make that bout.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I mean he's
uh,
Japanese, so obviously he's promoted by the promoter over there. I
I
forgot the
mean,
name of the promotion,
he
but
just won the bout back in September.
yeah,
Stoppage win over shoot the guy who beat Guzman. I can't remember his name.
oh, that dude got
Offhand,
beat too. Guzman got beat, then that guy got beat.
yeah, the guy who beat Guzman for the belt. Asawa just beat him this past September. Don't know much about him. Um, I don't even see at this point, given that he just won the belt, I wouldn't see them putting him in position against Vargas. Not this soon.
yeah, not this soon. I agree, but I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that's potentially a fight that they could possibly pursue at the moment. So I mean, obviously, I think Magdaleno is a fight that would make more sense. The Magdaleno fight.
Or
So
possibly a Kameda.
yeah,
Tomoki.
Kameda. Yeah, or you can get Mosi Flores. Is he ranked by the WBC, Mosi Flores, or only by the WBA?
Oh, he's still ranked one by the BA, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know why that guy's still ranked. Well, the WBA did order the rematch between him and Rigondeaux, but
I mean,
the,
don't let me get on that how the WBA is just screwing Rigondeaux
oh
again.
yeah, that's shameful. But let's be fair though. The WBA kind of did the same thing to Golovkin too when the Kell Brook fight got announced at middleweight. They said to Golovkin, "We're not going to sanction your fight, so you're not getting this special request to be approved for us to sanction that fight for the title." So this was going to happen. If you lose that fight, Gennady, what's going to happen is we're going to strip you for your title. So they did that to Golovkin too.
Yeah, but
They
this is
told him to
extra.
get.
This is extra with Rigo. This is the third time they've been trying to screw over this dude for years.
That is true. Yeah, they are doing a little extra with him too. They're doing a little bit more worse than what they're doing did to Golovkin. Gave him that ultimate same thing. So yeah, I mean it's very severe. It's very severe. They told him that if you lose this fight, you lose your ranking. Now they're telling him that you're going to lose your title. If you win the title from Lomachenko, you got 4 days to decide whether you're going to stay in that division or you're going to vacate. If you don't give us your decision in 4 days, we're going to strip you. I'm like, what in the hell? You guys can't even give them enough time to decide to figure this out, man. I mean, many fighters got leeway, got much leeway after they won titles in other divisions to decide what they're going to do.
I mean, when Trinidad, come on, man. When Trinidad beat Joppy for the WBA belt, that same WBA gave him longer to decide if he was going to stay at junior middleweight or middleweight.
Right.
They gave him 4 days. They gave Rigo 4 days. At least they gave Trinidad a month.
Right, they gave him a month. I think they gave Floyd. Well, obviously they gave Floyd special treatment when he did this. So why is Ricky now getting the shaft here? You know what I mean? This does not make no sense at all. And he said to himself, "You know what? I'm fighting this system all over again, guys." And it's obvious that's what it is. He's fighting the system all over again. I think after that Donaire fight, people still can't get over the fact that what he did to their perceived cash cow, ruined him. So I mean. I don't know, man. He's up. His back is against the wall here, man. I know he's getting $1 million payday for the fight, but at the same time, the way he's being treated here, it's just, in one sense, it is kind of it's inspiring a bit to see him in this position. He's in good spirits. He's like, you know what? My back is against the wall. I'm going up against the odds again. I like it this way because I've been counted out all my life, So, it's shameful. It's a crime. It's a crime.
The way the system is going at him, it's like he's the Kaepernick of boxing.
Yeah, it is, man. So I know Low Place is gonna say something. He's gonna say otherwise. It's like, nah, that's all Rigondeaux's fault.
He's not here to chat anymore, so I think he just left.
Oh, he just left? Okay. Yeah, he'll come back. Mr. Boxer today is going to come in real quickly. He's going to give his thoughts on this on the Wilders and Joshua situation. But yeah, man, I just think that Rigondeaux. Okay, Pesh K is in the comment section. He said, "Look, come on, man. I'm sick of all this love, and Rigondeaux screwed himself." Well, with all due respect, Pesh K, Rigondeaux is not the guy. Okay, first thing first, let's say this, man. Let's back this up. The WBA granted Rigondeaux an exemption to take this fight to begin with, okay? They gave him permission to do it at 130. So they gave him the thumbs up to do approval to take the fight against Lomachenko at 130. Then they come back and tell him and say, well, you know what? A few days later after the fight got announced, they tell Rigondeaux and his team that, okay, here's what's going to happen. At 130 against Lomachenko, the WBO title, this is what's going to happen. You got to give us, we're giving you 4 days. So 90, so what's it? How many, what's 48? 72? So 96 hours. You got 96 hours to decide whether you're going to vacate the title at 130, come back down to 122, or we're going to strip you if you don't respond within 96 hours. Okay? And then they come back a week or two later saying that, well, if you lose that fight, not only that we're going to remove you from the rankings, but we're going to strip you for your title. So they're telling him that he's not only going to be stripped for his title, they're also going to remove him from the WBA rankings. So he's got all this going up against him right after the fact that they gave him the okay to take this fight at 130. This, to me, is a crime. They should have disclosed all these provisions and terms before he decided to take this fight. I think the WBA is really trying to mess with him right now, Pesh. So this is the reason why I disagree with you on the fact that Rigondeaux screwed himself. No, I think he's being shafted again, just like after the Donaire fight. So yeah, man, I totally disagree with you.
And to your point, let's expand this here since we're on this topic.
Yeah,
it's not just this situation with the WBA vis-a-vis the Lomachenko fight. As you just said, the reason I talked about the system and the powers that be seem to have it against this guy. Look at how, whether it's networks, sanctioning bodies, have treated him post Rigo. Tried to get him a deal with HBO after HBO had praised him previously, prior to the fight with Donaire. Now HBO turns around. They don't want to have any business to do with him. He's boring. He's this and that. He's this and that. The way Bob
Yeah.
Arum talked about him essentially behind his back, the way that other fighters have shamefully ducked this dude, Santa Cruz, Frampton, what's the other guy at 122 pounds, who moved up to 126? Uh, uh, um, his name escapes me right now. Frampton fought him in a unification bout. I'm at 120.
Scott Quigg.
Scott Quigg. They all
Yep.
ducked him, uh, moved on to bigger fights, made the money, and moved out of the division, um, and didn't give this guy an opportunity that he deserved. Rigo
Yeah,
was
exactly.
in line to fight, particularly Quigg and Frampton, and they said, "Hell no, move on, fight each other, move up a division." Um,
Yeah.
he called out
Well, you know what? Though?
Santa Cruz left,
I call.
moved up the division, fought
Yep.
Frampton, and you see where he's at now. He's one of the
Yeah.
stars of PBC. So
Right. Exactly.
overall,
I call it.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quickly, man. I was just gonna say I call it karma because after what they did, you see what happened to their careers now. They're kind of stagnant now. We see what happened to Carl Frampton after he lost to Leo Santa Cruz. You know, he's been having promotional troubles. He's now under legal troubles now with his last then promoter Barry McGuigan. Um, and Scott Quigg is nowhere to be found pretty much at this point. So to me, it's karma. You know, that's what happens when you guys shamefully duck the guy who deserved a shot at one of you.
So that's
You
why I
know, to
say
freeze him out like that. So
the systems and the powers that be, because it's networks, it's
yeah,
sanctioning bodies, and fighters themselves who are basically giving the middle finger to this guy. And I know that Rigo has made some mistakes. I give you that, but at the same time, that does not justify what has happened to him. It's not right.
yeah,
It's just not
right.
right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But Mr. Boxing today just joined us real quickly. What's going on, brother? Mr. Boxing today, you want to mute yourself, brother? Let's okay. We'll wait for him to get on here for a second. But yeah, man. To me, it's on. It's just it's shamefully. It's just an injustice what's happened to a fighter, man. To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never seen a fighter in an era like this get treated the way he's being treated. I mean, this is just shameful the way it's happening to him, man. I mean, just like after that Donaire fight, it just went all downhill for him. It went all downhill after that fight. So some people are gonna say, well, he got greedy. He's turned down fights himself too. Yeah, I get all that, but I never seen a situation. Well, has he blatantly turned down many fights? No, I see no evidence of that. I've seen him trying to get more fights than he's ever turned down fights. And look what happened. Many of these fighters don't want to fight him. You know, we had Solana Tete, a guy who fought at division below him at bantamweight. People were trying to get Rigondeaux to fight that guy. You know, obviously I think Tete is way big for bantamweight. They were saying that Rigondeaux was ducking him, but it turns out that Tete was actually offered the Rigondeaux fight and he turned it down. So what does that tell you? So he said that, well, Rigondeaux's too big for me. So
I mean, just both things can exist. Yes, like I said, yes, Rigo has made some mistakes or whatever, and I acknowledge those mistakes and what he could have done in his career and whatnot. Maybe in and out of the ring, but again, that doesn't outweigh um, the way that he's been systematically uh, blackballed. Maybe too strong of a word because he is getting the Lomachenko fight, but how he's been effed over throughout his career.
yeah, man. I mean that's what it is. I mean, well, let me just say this though. I just think that yeah, hopefully Mr. Boston will come on for a second. But the thing is, so here's the thing. I just hope that he overcomes it somehow, some way. I hope he does beat Lomachenko, and I got Lomachenko winning that fight. I really hope he does. If he wins that
Karma,
fight,
Karma says he should beat him. Karma says that all the stuff that's been done, you know, what did Celie say in The Color Purple? All everything you've done to me. Um, Carla says that, you know, Rigo should have his comeuppance here and beat this guy. I just think again, one, you just have to give Loma Chico. He's a damn good fighter, number one, and number two, again, there's been just so much ish has happened to Rigo's career that it could be a scenario where Loma Chico gets the decision, even if he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, that could be the case, man. But I mean, so the fight is next week. That's definitely the biggest fight you know, obviously for this month. Could possibly be one of the biggest fights of the year. See how this plays out. So we'll see how this goes, man. We'll see how this goes. But Mr. Boxer today, man, I see you in there, man. What's going on?
What's going on, man? What's going on, y'all?
What's
Not
going
much.
on? What's going on, brother?
Not much.
Uh,
Yeah, we were just a second ago. We just talked about the Wilder and Joshua situation. I know you're the heavyweight guy here, and you know, we just were talking about. Low Place was on here a second ago, but he bounced all of a sudden. We were talking about the Wilder allegedly turning down 10 million pounds, English pounds, which is if you convert that to U.S. dollars, that's $13.5 million. Allegedly, he turned that down. So I just want to know, well, get your thoughts on that, man. What do you think?
I mean,
Pounds, which is if you
I
convert
would
that
like
to
to.
US dollars, that's
Let me
$13.5 million.
turn this down quick. I would like to know, or I would like to hear Wilder and his team's side about what's going on. I did hear a interview with Radio Raheem. Shout out to Radio Raheem. He did an interview with Lou DiBella. Um, from what I remember, DiBella really didn't touch on that specifically, but he did say that negotiations really never really began. And it sounds good, right? He turned down 13.5 million. It's by far his biggest payday, things like that. But I just want to know more. I would like to hear from his side because they're after a percentage. So I would like to know, you know, what percent is this alleged, you know, $13 million? Is that 20%? Is it 25%? I'd like to know more. It's, you know, and Eddie Hearn, he'll put little fillers out there, man, and a lot of fans are wrong with it.
Right.
Personally, man, I really don't. I got to listen to both sides, man. And as of right now, I haven't heard anything from Wilder or his team about this money he's turned down. And then another thing about this with Hearn is I've noticed, and I've brought this up to other fans, man, and nobody really can answer my question. Now they're being kind of hypocrites about this, man. Because first it was, when Wilder and other guys talk about money in the media, they say, hey, only rookies talk about money in the media. If you really want to make the fight, you wouldn't be on social media running your mouth, blah, blah, blah. But then Eddie Hearn, when it comes to Wilder, he's always willing to say, like Dillian White in July, remember? Wilder turned down 3 million, 4 million. And then now he's saying Wilder turned down 10 million or 13 million in US dollars. But when it comes to every other fighter, like when Dillian White was getting offered to fight like Charles Martin in Brazil, those guys were turning down the fights. But Eddie Hearn never disclosed that amount. He said it was unprofessional to say how
Right.
much these guys wanted. But when it comes to Wilder, he's willing. So it kind of makes me think like, is this dude lying, man? Because when it comes to everybody else, he never discloses prices except for Wilder. So it
That's a
kind of,
good. That's
you
a
know,
definitely a good point there because also too let's be fair here because Eddie did say in that what you call in that Sky Sports what you call it what you call that podcast with Spencer Farrow and whatnot. He did say that look, Lou DiBella is not part of the negotiations. I don't talk to that guy. I only talk to Shelly Finkel and of course in junction to Al Heyman. So those are the guys I deal with. I don't deal with Lou. Lou, yes, we've had our exchanges here and there, but he's not part of that negotiation process. All he does is promote the fight. That's all he does. He's not even part of that deal. So that's what Eddie is saying. So now there's two sides of different stories here. But you know what though? Mike did bring up a good point though, because he used history as a good precursor here. Because me personally though, I would say from a Spanish perspective, $13.5 million. If you look at that, you go ahead and subtract that from your last payday, which is $1.5 million. That's a $12 million difference. Why would you turn that down? But at the same time, Mike brought up a good point. That's something I didn't think about, and I'm guilty of not thinking about this earlier. Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, not Roy Jones. I'm sorry, Bernard Hopkins and Gennady Golovkin had all turned down. One time when, for example, when Hopkins was supposed to fight Roy Jones back in 2003, he was going to go up from middleweight to light heavyweight. He won at 64. I mean, now Roy Jones was offered a 40% split. Hopkins turned it down. And then next, it took several years later to make that fight happen. 7 years later, he got a bigger payday for that fight. Now, Gennady Golovkin, not too long ago, turned down a $10 million guaranteed payday from Canelo Alvarez. And a lot of people getting flack for that, including myself. But then at the same time, later, next he got a bigger person plus a vacuum money from the deal. So maybe Deontay's saying, look, well, why not $13.5 million plus vacuum? That's probably what he's probably negotiating for, and that got turned down. Who knows? So basically, you want to start off from the top and then work your way down low. So that could be a possibility too. Don't you agree?
Yeah, dude. First, let me just side note that night that Roy and Bernard they had like that because remember they fought on the same night, and that was the night Roy kept saying 60-40, I kick your ass. 60-40, I tear your ass up.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was
Hell,
legendary.
he made a rap song after that.
Yeah, and then he proceeded to go in there and knock out, was it Kelly with his hands behind his back?
Yep.
But that was just a side note. But yeah, man, Hearn, I don't know, man. I know a lot of UK fans, they love him because, look, they got Anthony Joshua out there. Everything's great. He's a cash cow. But it just seems as if Hearn and that side of the fence, they just seem as if they can just offer anybody just anything they want, and they better take it. And if they don't, then they're pricing themselves out. They need to do this the old school way, get behind closed doors, leave us fans out of it for a minute, let social media die down a little bit, settle it behind closed doors, man. And then, and then give us information. Because
Yeah,
this
I
whole
agree.
the media,
Oh,
this
I
doing it
agree.
to the media thing is crazy. Now, like I said though, but that $12 million difference from your last payday, of course. But then they can use that for anybody. If that's the case, they can just offer people a set price. Wilder and his team, from last I heard, they want percentages. Now, I know this 50-50 thing might not work out, and I don't think it should be 50-50, but that's business making 101. You always go high, right? Even Joseph Parker went high at first, but now they're reconsidering, and that fight might get made because they're getting close to that 30-35%.
Right.
Yeah, like I was trying to explain to Scorsese, he kept saying 13 million, 13 million. In situations like this, you don't accept the first offer someone gives you.
Thank you.
Not when it comes to this kind of money. No, you don't do it.
Well, you know what, guys? Both of you guys, you guys made me reconsider this because trust me, when I first heard this news, I was about to go in on Wilder, but at the same time, I said, you know what? It's fair. Let me hear his side of the story. I haven't heard from it yet, but based off what I'm hearing, and this is actually all factual. Something like this has happened before when guys have turned down bigger big paydays, and then got something bigger down the road, like Pacquiao, for example. Somebody brought this up in the comment section. Pacquiao one time turned down a big payday to fight Floyd Mayweather, which was a $25 million guaranteed money. And then years later, he got a very big purse after that, to take that fight. So, yeah, these things do happen. So that could be the possibility, guys. That could be the possibility. But then again, it is fair. We gotta wait till Bob's got to come out. This thing got to come out and explain this. They got to come out and put something out quick because the further they let this drag on without a response, then people are going to further speculate and say, well, this probably is true to the story, So I don't know, man. This is $13.5 million, though. Woof. Again, $13.5 million, but back in, that's probably what he's looking for. We'll see, man. We'll see, if they respond by next week on this, man. But to me, honestly, to really, for this to really make this properly, to make a proper negotiation, just get an interim fight deal between like Ward Kovalev deal, get some interim fights in, and then meet the following year. Of course, you know what though, Eddie Hearn did say that he was willing to do that, but Wilder's team turned that down as well. So what do you guys think about that?
I think, for one, let me just say this, man. I believe that with this whole Wilder, Joshua, just the whole heavyweight thing, man, I just wish egos wasn't involved to the point because man, there's great opportunities out there that both sides are missing out on. Now, when I say that, people may think, what? AJ's a superstar over here. He makes, buku crazy money. What are you talking about? But what I'm saying is for the fans, man, Showtime is working with both of these fighters. You guys know how the old school was, just like the Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones thing we were just talking about. Although that didn't come to fruition until years later. But what I'm saying is they can have both of these guys fight on the same night, telecast both fights. Or it'd be great if like Deontay Wilder went out there and fought on the undercard to build the fight up. That used to happen all the time. You know, guys fight on the be on the same card and then they meet for a mega fight months later. Or you can just telecast both fights the same night on Showtime, something like that. So that's something I think they're missing out on. That can really, people want to say marinate the fight, build the fight. That could really build the fight right there. Although I don't think much else needs to be built for this fight.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
that's
I think it's just the
missing out.
demand is already there. It's already there. It's high as it can be. I think it's at its peak. It can't go
Could you
no higher
imagine
than
that
this.
night? Could you imagine that night, Dan, if that was like a double header on Showtime? The internet will
Oh,
blow up as far as boxing, man.
oh yeah. I agree that should work. Get a co-main event. That's what De La Hoya and Oscar did to build interest for their fight for the middleweight crown.
Yep.
So do a co-main event, and then build interest for the fight, and then bam, there you go. Wilder in, I think that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. That would definitely be a great idea, man. I'm all for that. But of course, I think the fight will have to be in England though. So
Yeah.
I think Wilder have no problem going there to fight somebody on the undercard to build interest for that, to build more interest for the fight. So, which in my opinion, is already built. That it's at its peak at this point. But to get fans more more captivated, I should say, more gravitated towards them fighting, yeah, that definitely is a good idea, man. But yeah, man, I'm still waiting for that response. We're still waiting on that. Um, yeah, man. So I know you didn't see the other fights, man, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see. Where how things further develops down the road. But hey, I gotta ask you something real quickly before we close this up. What you think about that Manuel Char and Alexander Usman fight, man?
Actually, man, I thought it was a pretty entertaining fight.
Uh,
Um, I thought it was an entertaining fight. Char, the first few rounds, it looked like Usmanov was gonna go ahead and just beat him like I thought he would. I got the prediction wrong. But I thought he would just use his jab and right hand and just keep Char at bay because Char like to go to the high guard. And usually that high guard approach when you're really not quick and elusive and got crazy reflexes or you're a really good offensive fighter like that where you're coming in behind combinations. I thought he'd be able to control Char and keep him at a distance. But then Char just started to let his hands go and start coming forward. He landed a lot of good left hooks. He even caught Houston off with a left hook he didn't see. Dropped him. He tried to finish him, but it didn't happen. Um, but now Char's in a situation, man, to where although in the grand scheme of things, that regular title means nothing towards like
yeah.
unification. But for him, he can. I see the WBA has Okendo at number one, and he is going to get a title. So maybe Char can get a fight in his home country, build as a world champion, make some money, and then after that try to push. I mean, he could say, "Hey, man, Anthony Joshua, whoever has that WBA title," although that's not a fight that fans will be clamoring for.
Oh
But
no, yeah.
but let me just add this, Dan. What happened to that WBA tournament? Remember the tournament from last year? It just went to
Yeah, the WBA was supposed to assemble that tournament for it's a WBA tournament. So basically, the way it works is that you have a quarterfinals round, and then whoever wins the first quarterfinals round matchup, then they'll fight the winner of the other quarterfinals finals matchup, and that'll be the regular champion. Then the regular champion will face the interim champion, and then whoever wins that fight becomes the regular champion. So that consolidates those two belts right there, and
because I
then will beat the super champion. So the super champion pretty much gets two buys. They don't fight in that
right
tournament. Yeah.
because the original tournament format, if I remember this correctly, the original format on one side of the bracket, it was Lucas Brown versus Chagayev. The winner
Yeah.
fights Akendo. Akendo had to buy because of that in his contract. He was to get a rematch against Chagayev, but he got injured in training camp a few times, and it went on for years. Then on the other side of the bracket, it was originally Klitschko Fury rematch fights winner
Right.
out of Ortiz Ustinov. And then
Right.
Fury fell out. And then, from my understanding, they replaced it with AJ. But then it's like, would AJ sign up for a tournament? Being it is a tournament format, quote unquote. So,
Right.
and then that tournament was going to eradicate that regular title. Remember, the president of the WBA came out and said, "We're eradicating all these secondary titles." But we
Right.
know it's a lie, and we know that they got to keep the lights on somehow. So
Yeah, they just need the sanction fees. I mean, obviously that's what happened, and of course all these guys had drug issues, and some guys like Usmanov and Luis Ortiz fight didn't go off because Usmanov refused to do Avada testing. So I feel part. So it was a big mess, man. They I guess because they just couldn't get these things in order with that tournament, so that's why they decided to rescind it. I mean, honestly, I think we still need these tournament style fights, man, like these, like the World Boxing Series of Super Six, so we can get all these guys to fight each other. And what I personally think we need to get a uniform, and uniformed sanctioned body rankings like they did in the early '90s and the late '80s. Guys like Holyfield and Ruddock were universally recognized as the number one contenders for the world titles back then. Something to that
yep.
nature. But yeah, man, the WBA, they need to get rid of this regular title. I mean, let's be honest, you're not the actual champion. You're just a second tier titleist. That's all you are, and they don't sanction regular champions to fight in unification bouts, but they won't do it again. So they just need to get rid of that belt, and of course, interim titles. So they need to get rid of them as well, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
interim title, regular title. To me, you're just a glorified top 5 rated contender for that sanctioned body. That's it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much
that's
it.
that's pretty much what it is, man. But what do you think about Tyson Fury and Tony Bellew possibly happening?
Um, Domestically for the UK, huge fight.
Yeah,
It'll sell out wherever it's going to be. There'll be, the fans will be there cheering that fight on. They'll be singing "Sweet Caroline" in unison. It'll be great. But as far as the style matchup, though, I think Fury, although out of shape and somewhat seems unfocused. I mean, sometimes he's focused. Sometimes he's looked like he's in the gym and he's trying to get back focused. Like I seen some stuff on, I believe it was Fight Hype today, a clip of him in the gym dancing and hitting the pads. But then he'll disappear again. So I don't know where he's at mentally. But even with that said, I think he schools Tony Bellew. Just too big, the reach,
yeah,
boxing ability. And unlike David Haye, this is a totally different style matchup where a guy like David Haye, he actually fights shorter than he is. And Haye and Bellew I think Bellew's even taller than David Haye. It's just Haye has
yes,
muscle. So you look at the muscle and think, oh, he's bigger. And he's really not. Whereas Fury is a
yeah,
lot bigger than him. The reach, I think he has better boxing skill. I think he has a better chin. Um, I think he schools Bellew, man. Now Bellew have an outside chance of winning, but I see Fury, even a Fury that's been out and we don't know where he is mentally. I say 80-20 in Fury's.
yeah, yeah. Well, definitely be an interesting fight, but I may have to agree with. I don't know, man. Depends. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, man. I got to see how the conditioning, how Tyson Fury's conditioning is concerned. I know he's training right now. He's trying to shed that weight. I know he's got to lose 25 stones, which is a lot of weight to lose. So that's going to take a lot of time.
Do
So
you
I
that's
don't
the
know,
issue?
man.
Now
I'm sorry.
you bring up. I said you bring up Fury's condition, which is a good point. Do you think Bellew's style can test his stamina?
I think it
Because
will.
to test it
Yeah,
though, he can be out of shape, but if you can't test it, if he can't test his stamina, do you think he'll push the fight and make him fight a fast paced fight?
mm,
That's
that's
not
a good
him.
point. Yeah,
That's not him. He's
right.
never
That's
been
not.
a
Exactly.
guy to
Yeah.
kind of force um, the initiative like that. If Tyson Fury is halfway serious, he makes easy work um, of Bellew. The fight, if it's being talked about with any seriousness, it's gonna happen because Bellew sees the money that he could make, and
Right.
Fury sees the fact that he'll have his comeback fight against a halfway decent name. Um, that could get him a lot of attention and that he can win and win relatively easy. So that's just the bottom line for me. Bellew will take it because of the money. Fury would take it because Bellew's a name and he smells an easy comeback win. Bottom line.
I agree. I agree.
I agree, man. But to me, I know since we were talking about David Haye for a second, I think David Haye just needs to retire. Just pack it in, man. I mean, I know he's in the gym training right now, trying to heal from his injury, quote unquote. I just think that I don't know. I just don't see the desire in David Haye to fight
It's
anymore.
not desire. His body's broke down.
Body blow,
Yeah,
yeah. I agree. I don't trust his body. Just like me and D Style, we made a little $20 wager on the fight when it was scheduled the rematch, and that was one of my main reasons. It had nothing to do with style breakdowns. It was like I don't trust his body through training camp. So when that rumor came out that he re-injured his Achilles, and then they took the rumor back, and then a week later he was injured, it was his shoulder. I was
yeah,
sitting there laughing to myself, like, man, I knew he wasn't gonna make it through a training camp.
I mean, the reason he kind of had that retirement the first time was because he just didn't want to deal with the toll of all the injuries that he had throughout his career. Now he's going to come back. He suffers an Achilles injury, and we think he's going to be better. No, no, no.
Exactly. And then just think, fellas, his when David Hay was at his best, he's more of an explosive fighter. He wants to fight with his hands down, kind of a la Roy Jones a little bit, and throw explosive combinations, move around. Well, your Achilles is messed up, so moving around, let's cut that out. And then with
yeah.
those explosive wild hooks, your shoulder's messed up. This is an
Right.
injured man trying to get in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a
At
good.
35, 36 years old.
Yeah, that's true. 35, 36, and you are battling nagging injuries throughout your career. That does take a toll. That does become detrimental towards the end. And I mean, obviously, we saw that evident in his last fight against Tony Bellew. I mean, honestly, if he wasn't injured, if he didn't have that Achilles injury, I think he would have beat Bellew. He would have easily beaten
Yep.
him.
And then
Um,
guys like Mark Demore and Arnold Jerichai, they were targets, limited guys, easy to hit. So it looked like, man, this is the 2010 David Hay again, and it really
yeah,
wasn't. It was just a mirage. It was a mirage. Once he really got in there with somebody that he did hit him and they didn't go down and they tested him and he had to move, then he look, man, when you suffer injuries where it really was no physical contact, those are the worst injuries in any sport. So when he messed up his
right.
Achilles, I was thinking to myself, like, man, I don't think he's coming back from that.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I agree. I agree. So, man, last question, man. Before we close this out, we end this. Do you think Wilder and Ortiz is going to happen next?
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I think Brazil is going to be considered highly because of for some reason now I'm not a fly on the wall. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I think there's some type of when Brazil took that fight with Molina, remember at first, like the first few days, it was scheduled as a title eliminator fight for mandatory position for Wilder. Then I don't know if it was the backlash from the fans and Eddie Hearn said something about it too. Then WBC kind of reneged on that and they just had it as a title eliminator, not a final eliminator. So I think Brazil might have some type of deal in place. Remember, he was taking Wilder to court for that incident that happened after their fight in a hotel.
Right.
Never happened. I wasn't there, but I think Brazil's being highly considered, and he's what top 3 rated by WBC right now, top 4, something like that. So, but I want Ortiz though. That's the fight that I think should happen. They're kind of robbing us of that fight. Hopefully Ortiz signs whatever paperwork he needs to sign or whatever it is, man. And we get that fight. That's a fight I think between two legit top 5 heavyweights. I would want that
Yeah,
fight.
I agree with you. You know what? Speaking of Ortiz being fully cleared and vindicated by the WBC, why haven't the WBA rescinded their ruling against him?
Because the
That's a
WBA is
question
on that.
we need to
Because the
ask.
WBA is on that bullshit. Exhibit A.
I
You
know we
know.
talked about that, Mike. But let's be honest though. According to their final resolution, Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn got involved in that situation. They
Oh.
were pushing to have him removed from the rankings at one point. So, I mean,
Hey, fellas,
again, what's up, man?
do you think the WBA was kind of looking at that now? Okay, you said that Hearn has something to do with it, but do you think they were looking at that situation like, damn, you're at this again? We already caught you with the Coyote fight. Do you think they just kind of jumped the gun thinking, oh, he's at it again. Let's just suspend him?
Yeah, they did, but at the same time, there's scientific, there's it's just that the punishment is too severe, in my opinion. Yes,
Okay.
he messed up. He didn't disclose the medication that he was taking on the forms, with particularly with the clean boxing program, but he did have a prescription for for his medication. So that's what got him off. And that should get a guy off. If you got a prescription that was signed on by your doctor, by a medical doctor, then you should be good to go. Just next time, be careful. Make sure you list it. The WBA just jumped the gun on it. I think they were just looking for a reason to remove him from the rankings. And again, I have every reason to believe it all started from the fact when the WBA had giving Ortiz the thumbs up to go fight Wilder for the WBC title while he was the mandatory challenger for Joshua's title. Joshua and his team just wanted him to be removed from the rankings. They vetoed it. They said, why is he still a mandatory challenger on my title if he's fighting for the other title? They wanted him out of the way.
Right.
So, and you know, some guy's going to say that's not true, Dan. I know it is true. It's part of the resolution. That's what the WBA says. That's not coming from me. That's what the WBA said. So now that he got that that whole the whole blood pressure situation, they immediately remove him from the rankings. That right there was very suspect to me. Very suspect. You know, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. I see somebody in the comment section says we all know Don, or Pesh in the comment section says we all know Don King has a long relationship with Suleiman. He paid for Stavern's #1 ranking. My question is, and that's possible, I think is true, but my thing is he still paying him? Because Stavern is number 15 by the WBC right now. He's still in the top. They still have him in there. That's like a double smack in the face, man. Like, y'all, come on, man. Y'all still got this man in the top 15?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. But look, Pish, I know it's like a devil's advocate thing. It's like, okay, if Joshua and Hearns we're going to do that for the WBA against Ortiz, then we can say the same thing about Don King, which is a good point. We could say that, but it doesn't dismiss the fact what they were doing with the WBA with Ortiz.
Right.
It doesn't dismiss that.
Just because of the association with King and the WBC, which is wrong, that doesn't justify what's happening with the WBA vis-a-vis Ortiz.
Right, it doesn't. I agree, man. I like Anthony Joshua. I praised him more than I've ever praised Deontay Wilder. I criticize him when I have to, and I praise Wilder sometimes, but I have to criticize him when I have to criticize him. So it goes both ways, guys. This channel is very partial, y'all. So this is not no Anthony Joshua hate. This is all fact. You have to look it up and research. It's all fact. It's all written. So, yeah, man, I just think the WBA needs to come to their senses and give him back his ranking. I'm not sure if they do. I'm not sure they're going to reinstate him as a mandatory challenger. I don't think that's going to happen, but they need to give him back his ranking at least. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think he deserves his ranking back. The fight didn't take place. The fight wasn't sanctioned by the WBA, so I don't even know why they involved themselves like that. Even to the point where they made a ruling that the fight that the sanctioned body that was going to sanction the fight didn't even do anything, and the WBA did something. It's like, man, it wasn't even sanctioned for you guys as a sanctioned body. So he definitely deserves his ranking back, because right now you have Freza Kendo. Look, man, you have Freza Kendo as the #1 contender in your ranking system. Like,
right.
Once they are, getting these lists together, how can they walk away from that top 10 list and say, okay, yep, that's the rankings right there? You can have Freza Kendo at number 15. He's still going to get his little regular WBA title shot. But that's a smack in the face to us fans, man. It just really is, man. Freza Kendo at #1. Nothing against Fast Fred. He was a good contender in the 90s and when he was the early 2000s. He's not fought. He's been injury prone. He's been injured for years. The last 3 years he hasn't fought. I know it wasn't his fault that Brig fell his head, but he should not be a #1 contender.
Right, I agree, but I think it all stems from the lawsuit that Okendo had with the WBA, goes back years ago, and I think after the fallout from that lawsuit, the WBA has been really, really cautious with him. So I think they're trying to cater to him from a legal perspective. So I see what you're coming from, but I think that's the reason why they got him ranked, because of that fallout from that legal action that he took against him years ago. So. Yeah, I agree, man. He needs to be removed. He ain't fought in nearly 4 years, and I don't know why they got that guy ranked.
He's 2 days older than dirt in the boxing equivalent, man. Come on.
Yeah. Just like I said, Dan. Now you made a good point that they're trying to be lenient towards him, have him at #1 to still show him that we got love for you, man. You took us to court. But the thing is, they can have him at #9. He still is legally bound to get his WBA regular title shot. But putting him at #1 is it's ridiculous when you remove Ortiz and replace him with a Kendo. You can still give him his shot if he's rated #10 or #9. Should, in my opinion, #11, because he went to court for it. You don't have to put him at 1. I know you didn't say that, but I'm just saying the WBA, they don't have to place him at number 1. He's still going to get his regular title shot.
Right. I that's a good point. That's a good point. I agree with that. But I think though they are being way too lenient with him. I know they're trying to be cautious with the legal ramifications behind it, but you guys they've bent over backwards for this guy for the last 4 years now. He's been just sitting there for 4 years, been relaxing. He's getting paid step aside. I think he's getting paid some type of step aside deal while he hasn't been fighting for years. There has to be some reason behind that, But other than that, yeah, man, I just think the WBA need to clean up their whole their heavyweight rankings. They need to clean it up, and they got to do it fast. They can start by giving Ortiz his ranking back. That's what they need to do. But you said though they were so quick to act on that situation, even though he never failed a drug test with their sanctioned body. Well, to me though, I'll be honest with you. If a one fighter fails a drug test and any other recognized sanctioned bodies, I think they need to uniformly ban that fighter if it's turned out to be tangible. But because this is what they did to Povetkin. Let's not get it twisted. When Povetkin failed the WBC test, all the sanctioned bodies removed him from the rankings. And there was tangible evidence why he got removed. But of course, the Ortiz situation is a little different because his case is at reasonable doubt. That's why I say, wait a minute, you guys are acting too fast on this. You got to, because the guy is saying, look, I'm willing to take extra tests if I have to prove my innocence. I have the prescription right here shows you that I can take this drug. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think that the powers may be, as you say, Mike, the powers may be just they were quick to get him out the way. To suit one guy, to suit another champion and his promoter because they didn't want him in the rankings. I have every reason to believe that. So yeah. Yeah, they need to clean that up. The WBA really need to clean themselves up right there at that point.
Did you guys get to see this fight tonight?
Yeah, the David Price fight. Yeah, I can say that David Price looked bad. It was a 6-round fight against a guy who was 4-11-1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked bad in that fight. And to me, he needs maybe 2 or 3 more fights to build his confidence before he thinks about getting in the ring with Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua.
David Price is Bob Hope's cousin, man. No hope.
Man, yeah, David Price, man. We can all agree that Tony Thompson fight, his career got ruined.
Truth be told, when I heard he was scheduled to fight Kamil Sokolowski, I thought to myself, like, man, this could be an upset. Now, I know some guys probably like, who the hell is this guy? And leave it to me, I know who he is. But he's, he does have a losing record. But if you look at his style, he actually beat Sean Turner, who was an undefeated prospect I did a video about. But he's fought Dillian White. If you watch that fight with Dillian White, he didn't fight a bad fight. He got outpointed. Dillian White out-hustled him. But there was points where he was pushing White back. White put pressure on him, then he'll fight back. So when I heard David Price was fighting him, knowing that David Price is chinny and his stamina goes out the door later in fights, I was like, man, he might struggle in this fight. And lo and behold, from what I'm hearing, he didn't look all that great. So I'm not surprised. But as far as Price calling out all these guys, he knows domestically that fans would draw to that fight. I'm not saying all of them, but a large majority domestically of those fans would love to see Fury fight David Price.
Yeah. But you know what, though, to be honest with you, I thought he lost that fight today. I thought he lost that fight.
And I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised if you think that. This guy he fought is a guy that gets in there. He'll fight an up-and-coming prospect and push him the whole 6 rounds or 8 rounds or 4 rounds. He's one of those type of journeymen.
Yeah, man. But yeah, again, man, I thought he lost this fight and he looked horrible in there. I have to agree with Olof. Olof the Mighty, shout out to him in the comment section. Price looked kind of shot in there to me, man. He had no commitment on his shots. He was too squared up. He has kept his right hand so low to the point that he could get clipped with left hooks. His footwork was a little bit slow. His hand speed was slow. Something was not right with him. So he looked shot in there to me too. So
did you guys? Because I know for his comeback fight, he put up like 200. He was like 275 or something. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I hope this professional boxer, former Olympian, does not think adding weight is going to help his chin.
No, that's what he thought initially, and he got knocked out against Christian Hammer, so that didn't help him. Now he went back down. Yeah, he set that weight off. He's back down to like what, 250 now?
Okay.
255. You know, he was like 240 at one time, but now, you know, early in his career, so he's getting down back to that weight limit. So I guess all that extra weight didn't help him as he thought it would. So I mean, the point is either you got a chin or you don't, man. Because look, Terry Norris put on extra weight in his career in some degrees, and that didn't help his chin.
Right.
You know, you know, when he was fighting at light middleweight. So I mean, it's either you got it or you don't. What you have to do as a fighter, you have to find a way to make up for that. Like Khan, for example, he found ways to make up for that terrible chin. He ended up having good wins on his resume, just like Norris had a great career, a Hall of Fame career, even though he had a terrible chin. Floyd Patterson. So I can go on and on and
Right.
on. So, yeah, David, to me, if he really wants to be a serious contender, he needs a couple more fights to build confidence. But he looks shot to me, man. He looks pretty shot. I mean, if you look at that fight, it's on IFL. They actually streamed it today. So look at IFL channel, IFL TV. They streamed it today, so you guys can take a look at it, and you know what I'm talking about. And it's funny though, when they read the scorecards, they didn't even get Soko not one round in that fight. And I'm like, what? They didn't give this man one round in a 6-round fight. They scored it all for Price.
David Price better watch out, man. He may be relegated to fighting like the Nathan Gormans and Daniel Dubois and guys like that. Those up and coming UK
Yeah,
prospects. He might be relegated. So he talking about Tyson Fury. Remember last year before the Hammer fight, he was talking about Anthony Joshua and what he did to Joshua in sparring years ago. And I'm then sitting there
yeah.
scratching my head like, bro, you just gonna sweep under those those Thompson losses? I know the drug test and Erkin Tepper put him to sleep too. Again, I know the drug test, but we can't just sweep that on the rug, man. We've seen you get knocked out. Although he did hurt Thompson and stuff, but we seen you get stopped, man. Like we just can't
Well,
sweep the rug.
yeah. The thing is too, he's been knocked out many times in the amateurs. You know, so that's nothing new. He's had you know, he's always had a bad chin throughout his career, even his you know, his amateur days, and even in the pros, as we can see. So, um, look, I understand that he talks about these guys because he's trying to build his confidence going into these fights. But if I were him, I wouldn't focus on those guys. You mean what? You need to focus on the task at hand. Don't overlook your opponents, and that's what he was doing. He overlooked Thompson. We saw what happened to him because he wanted that Tyson Fury fight when they were both coming up in the domestic rankings in the UK back in early 2012 or 2011, and we saw what happened to him. And now he was overlooking Christian Hammer, and we saw what happened in that situation. He just has a tendency of overlooking his opponents. He's got to stop doing that. So, but honestly, to me, it's too little, too late for his career. I mean, he could prove me wrong, though. He could prove me wrong, but from the looks of it, I think he's pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, okay. Looks like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up here, guys. So it's been a long talk. You know, it's been a great, great, great discussion here, man. But other than that, guys, I thank you all for coming on, Mr. Boxer, today, as always, brother. And Mike, as always, from Pound for Pound Boxing Report. Guys, do me a favor, go subscribe to those guys' channels if you haven't done so already. I would like to thank my commenters, Olet Mighty, as always. Pesh K, as always, brother, 1224529, Pete Money, many others, and Champ Ross, as always. So
Good
other than
chopping it
that,
up with you, Mike. I never chopped it up with Mike, man. So good chopping it up with him. Is always Dan. Always good to be on, man.
yeah, as
Big,
always,
good being
brother.
on with you as well, brother.
Yep.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys for your time. So other than that, we will be back some other time soon. We are out. Peace.